Hello and welcome to another month of Club Flashpoint, a monthly gaming podcast where every month we talk about a different game. I am one of your hosts, Faden Cross, and to my right...
I am Uncle, and I'm so happy to be here. And who's that over there?
Max is back again.
Max is back again.
Yay!
Where we are maybe trying to get Max just back as much as we can. It's been a real pleasure. How you doing?
Doing good. Happy to be back. And yeah, we're gonna keep doing this.
Yay!
Woo!
Always fun to have friends.
Oh, it's always fun to have friends.
I said that'd be a good tagline for this month's game. I think it's fun to have friends.
It's fun to have friends. Oh my god!
And quite useful.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
We also tend to play other games this month.
We try to.
We try to. Some of us play the same games, and they have different things to talk about.
Yeah.
So
Losers.
maybe we should start off with Uncle.
Yeah, I mean, we got to try new games. We got to try new experiences. And for me this month, I'm used to really slow, plotting, thoughtful, strategic games where you have to, really manage a whole empire and a civilization while you go into combat with huge, massive armies. This month, I really wanted to try something direct, combat-oriented, bloody, brutal. So instead of my usual, I decided to play Total War Warhammer III.
Blood for the blood god, blood for the blood god, blood for the blood god, blood for the blood god. Blood for the blood god, blood for the blood god, blood for the blood god, blood for the blood. Enough, cool cares not for words, empty promises that go unheard. To appease our Lord and earn his favor, hands need to roll for the blood must flow.
That's a new genre for you.
This time, a Khorne campaign, which is blood for the blood god and skull for the skull's thrones.
I think we need to get a. I need to find some sort of free sound to indicate it's the Uncle Warhammer time.
I mean, I'll keep it brief, but
No, you don't have to keep it brief. Go. So actually, who?
Yeah, so this time around I'm playing as Skull Taker, one of the newer campaigns available through some DLC.
Is that given name? Is that chosen
Skull
name?
Taker is
Occupation.
his name as a demon.
Occupation?
Both. Yes. The
Okay.
answer is yes. He is the preeminent Skull Taker of Khorne, one of the four Chaos gods, the god of bloodshed, murder, and taking skulls. And Skull Taker is one of his best boys.
Why do they take skulls?
Well, why not,
Is there actually they just like them?
Well, it's for the Skull Throne.
So it's just their skull theme.
Well, I mean, how else are you going to have a Skull Throne, though, Faden?
So is it like a skull-based is it currency?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a currency. They're trophies. All of the abilities and currencies in this campaign for Skull Taker are oriented around skulls and the favor you earn with the skull-taking god, Khorne. And so you don't earn treasure necessarily, although it functions like treasure in the other campaigns. You're earning favor with this god.
Okay, but is it only skulls?
Skulls and blood. Blood too.
Blood too.
But blood for the blood god,
And
skulls
so
for the skull throne.
This god, does
Yeah.
it have a religion? Do they specifically
taking skulls.
Okay. And what is that Sunday service like?
So it's Sunday every day when you're worshiping the blood god because
Gotcha.
you always need to be doing that.
There is only
reaping
today,
skulls and spilling
only-
blood.
Yeah, only actions to take of today.
Yes,
There's no
and
tomorrow.
it actually functions quite well in the campaign because you really are kind of built to have a negative economy. You are always going deeper into debt, and then
Skull
debt, yes, and blood debt.
Oh, okay.
And so you have to spill more blood and reap more skulls. And since your
Are they
empire
skull
doesn't really
people?
produce skulls and blood,
Right, okay.
you have to just keep destroying other civilizations. So it really is less strategic in that respect. You're just blitzing through other empires. You're encouraged to just destroy everything instead of occupying settlements. Just burn it all down. And then by doing this, you're creating coronate corruption throughout the realm. And naturally, cities that have been destroyed utterly and ruined just become corn cities eventually if you spill enough blood in the area. It just happens. So you don't have to think about building up your city. You just get to have them.
Okay, so they just manifest as skull cities.
And the reasoning there is that by spilling enough blood, you are creating tears in reality through which coronate demons can spill out, and they become your armies. You even can. There's an ability where you can specifically spend a certain skull currency, destroy a city, and then as a result of that, produce an entire new army of demons that you don't have to pay any upkeep for, but they don't recover. So you just kind of spend them until they're all dead, and then bye-bye.
What's the coolest unit?
The coolest unit, probably the... I can't remember. It's Blood Reapers, Skull Takers. I can't remember. They all sound the same.
You said special skull currency. Are there different types of skull currencies?
Yes, there are. There's I can't remember their names because they're all so similar. But there's these.
Well, they're skulls.
These very I think it's champions skulls, which you get a very select amount of, but only through just defeating other armies.
Okay.
Right.
And then there's a general amount of skulls that you get after you destroy the captives of an enemy army, or you do some raiding in an area, or defeat a city or something like that. And then those you can spend on all these different abilities that might grant you a little more experience for your units temporarily, or make it more likely for a ruined city to become yours, or it might recover your army's movement range, so you can just keep on destroying stuff.
Because this is Warhammer, I've been assuming they're skeletons the whole time. Is this correct?
Yeah, not where I was in the world, but on the other side of the ocean, there was that was actually the end game event. I never really got around to it, but a huge army of undead mummies and skeletons were rising up in the Africa equivalent of Warhammer, the Southern Lands.
Okay.
I was busy in Lustria mostly, which is the South America equivalent, doing battle with lizard people, vampires, vampire pirates specifically.
Right.
And there was also an expedition of Cathay, which is Warhammer China. I was battling them, and there was an expedition of colonial European humans from the Empire, and I was doing battle with them, all in the equivalent of South America. And that is all I should really say about this, because I could go on and on about fucking Warhammer, but I don't think I need to.
Yeah. Okay. Huh. I'm just so it's just, are they people? What
The corn demons?
Yeah,
they're
or they're
red
just
demon-looking demons.
Okay, they're
picture
just
a
demons.
red demon with horns and a big sword.
They don't have a society. They don't populate via there's nothing? Okay,
It's just demons killing people because that's what these demons do.
Okay,
and if
sometimes
they
the
don't
demon
do it,
army
they disappear.
invades. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Simple.
Fuck the children of the corn.
Yes.
Is that what? Everyone...
That's 1-to-1. If you've seen that movie, you've seen. No.
That's basically Warhammer to me.
Max, what did you play?
I agree. I think we should play new games. I played a new game that no one's played before because it's not out yet, but the Monster Hunter Wilds beta. the game I'll be playing all next month as well, and will be the determining factor whether or not I come back to play the game next month. I love the Monster Hunter series. I've played it for so long, so many hours. It's probably the most amount of hours of gaming I've done in a single type of game is just those games. I started with the third game, actually Monster Hunter Tri, and if you've ever played the Monster Hunter Tri or know about Monster Hunter, it's the jankiest of them all. They just really tried changing and doing a lot of different things. You had underwater combat and stuff like that.
Oh, that's right.
Eesh.
I played that. Right. I did not like the underwater section.
That would be, I mean, the game could work if you didn't play it on a 3DS.
Yeah.
They're moving the camera and moving your character while also trying to do things. The Nintendo Switch is just the control schema just doesn't really work that well, or the DS for that.
No.
But yeah, the Monster Hunter Wilds beta, they released 2 more because people were like, please, can you let's just do another beta. Whether or not there's any testing being done, we just need to play the game again because it's so much fun. And that ran for 2 weekends. I put, I think, 14 hours into the beta alone, just in those two weekends, just because I was excited, trying all the new stuff. The game mechanics seem like a lot of fun. Yeah, I'm super hyped for it.
What's new about this? So I'm a Monster Hunter kind of intermediate, not an expert, but not a novice.
So if you ever played Monster Hunter World Iceborne,
okay, it's very much just like that.
Where they add the wounding mechanic there, that felt like the very early steps of what they wanted to add to this game. If you got far into the Iceborne DLC and got to the end game, you realize how boring the Clutch Claw gameplay was, where when you start the fight, you're going to do the same thing every time. Jump on the monster's face, put a wound on it, and then jump off and hit it till it goes away, and then reapply the wound when it's gone. So it's attached, slash 3 times, and now you get like a 25% damage buff, and you're going to always want to do that because that's always DPS optimal.
I never played Monster Hunter in this way.
Yeah, it's
I just play the hunting horn.
I've loved the gameplay. You just feel like a really cool guy going out hunting monsters, and it's got to the point where I found other friends that love playing the game as much as I do. So we go to the end game, which is fighting the hardest monsters that'll probably one-shot you if you're not fully optimized on items you prepare with and all these different things. But you just feel like a really cool guy with a really big sword or weapon or gun lance if you're the coolest guy. But yeah, no, going around hunting these really cool monsters, it's a blast. I love that game.
I always like the preparation aspect. Where you have to really consider your equipment.
They've been bringing that back quite a bit in the World and Iceborne, where it's just like
World and Iceborne kind of simplified it though.
That's what I'm saying. There's not a lot of prep you need. No. It's just like, okay, well, here's all my stuff, and if I forgot it, I'll just go. Which actually is a good thing, where you can actually access your equipment stuff. It may make the game slightly easier, but it's better than, oh, I forgot my stuff. End quest, go back, try again.
You lost 5 minutes. Especially with how kind of clunky the multiplayer is still.
Yeah. And they added that too, where you could swap weapons mid-fight too, which everyone thought was a little weird. I was like, I'm not going to swap weapons mid-fight. I know what weapon I've been playing for this game session.
Right.
But then they made it really cool where you can swap between 2 different weapons during a fight. It really opens up people to explore more things than just the basic default sword and shield.
Or hunting horn. No, I'm still going to just do hunting horn.
Hunting horn's cool. If there's one thing in Monster Hunter that everyone knows when you start playing is that if you join a hunt midway and you're like, there's one thing you look out for, you're like, oh, yes, we have a hunting horn. Everyone loves getting buffs.
Everyone loves getting a nice little boost.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone loves getting some HP recovered, your affinity up.
Attack up large.
Yeah, everyone loves the attack up large. So I'm over here in Rise doing small still.
Yeah.
So how's the beast in this? How's the new rideable companion?
So if there's one thing you want to compare it to another Monster Hunter game, it feels like Monster Hunter 4 2. They're trying to push their storytelling abilities again. They made it very
That's not good.
But I as long as
that with Worlds, and I was like, oh no, oh no, don't do that.
If you've played 4 though, I would say 4 has probably the best story out of any of the Monster Hunter games you've played. Because they start with like Gormagala. There's this crazy thing that affects every other monster right now.
I am an absolute Monster Hunter novice, but I love the names of all the monsters. I could listen to a list of those names. So say that one again for me.
Gormagala.
The Gormagala.
Yeah.
Excellent.
A black beast with huge, I think he's got 5 limbs.
Ooh.
So he's got 4 Yeah, 4 legs and then 2 upper arms that kind of go like this, so he's always facing you like this.
That's 6.
Yeah, 6. Actually, 6. Yeah, 6 body parts.
I was gonna say 5, odd number. Interesting.
Yeah, he puts his arms up, and they're also turned into wings. But anyways, the idea of it is that what is this weird creature? The first time you fight it, and for then on until you learn more information in the story, it's just question marks. You don't know what this thing is, and you come to find out later in the game that it's actually the baby form of an elder dragon that you're going to go hunt, which elder dragons have always been like their own thing there. They grow up and they're always an elder dragon. But I think technically if you look at the wiki, they're both scheduled as elder dragons. But when you're playing the game, you don't know what it is. And then you find out and they say, that's an elder dragon. And it evolves into Shiguru Magala.
What?
It's crazy.
Shiguru Magala.
Yeah, and so
This is just Godzilla name.
all of my friends were just like, well, I came up with it, but we were like, it's Shaggy McHaggy. We're fighting Shaggy McHaggy, and it makes the fight seem silly then.
I love it.
But
Shaggy
it's really
McHaggy.
cool. They make it really cinematic. The story going through, go to a bunch of different villages because they're all getting affected. And the Gore Magala, it does have an impact on large monsters. There's a whole different subspecies category for monsters that are infected with frenzy, because if they're infected with frenzy, when they die, they get reborn into like a empowered Gore Magala state,
So
where they're
sort of like a Heartless, one might say.
I've never played Kingdom Hearts, I think is what you're referencing. So,
It's sort of like when Scar is thrown off the top of Pride Rock.
Yeah.
And then Pete brings back Scar as a Heartless.
That's the first thing I think of
You
when I
have
think of
to.
monsters.
That is the first thing I think
Simba
of.
defeat Scar.
is Final Fantasy characters with Mickey Mouse plotting to fight the big bad guy, which is something else. Usually Final Fantasy related, but sometimes the Disney characters are also bad guys.
Look,
I heard good things about the game. It just never got me interested.
Oh, they're completely wonderfully weird.
yeah. I mean, I said
For good and for ill.
I play Final Fantasy. I just agree to the idea that game is also just weird. I don't understand the lore in it, but the gameplay's fun, and I like playing MMOs with friends.
So okay, but the beastie, the thing you ride, what is that called? The
feather. So if you ever played Monster Hunter Rise, it's gonna be it's like the dog.
Interested in.
You got a mount dog, which
A dog.
yeah, you get a it's a really big dog, and you can ride him like a horse.
And the Palmettos.
you can drift, and it's really funny.
Nice.
You can
But
sharpen your weapons
Yes.
on the dog while moving.
This
Best thing
Monster
ever.
Hunter Rise felt like this was all of the beginnings of that. Like between Iceborne and Rise, they were like, we're gonna test things. We're gonna combine Monster Hunter World and Rise together, and we're gonna get Monster Hunter Wild, where the maps change. There's 3 different weather events that could be going on.
Ooh.
They have the monster you talk about is the Secret. It's like a velociraptor. Like you get to now ride a velociraptor with many feathers. Like it should be accurately portrayed now, but yeah, it's really cool. There's a monster called Ray Dow, and
This sounds like a Gundam name, but that could be. I'm watching a lot of Gundam.
His name's Ray Dow, and then he has 4 feelers on his face.
Nice.
That when he focuses in one spot, turns into a railgun and shoots you.
Excellent.
It's the sound. If you have really good headphones, it sounds really fucking cool. And then the flagship monster is Arkveld. Arkveld is the mysterious monster that has chains and organic chains that he grows. We don't know. He could have broken off of something that was holding him together. But every time you see him, you see Arkveld with chains, and he's really cool. He's like the White Wraith is what they call him in this game. But yeah, I'm super excited. If you couldn't tell, the game comes out next Thursday at midnight. And I will be taking a nap after work to wake up at midnight to play all morning.
See you next year.
Yeah.
No, see, here's the solution.
Yeah.
I'll still keep the mystery since we haven't said the name of the game. Because why not?
Yeah.
You could just read the episode notes, anyways. So what you do is, because Monster Hunter usually has a lot of downtime while waiting for things.
You are making a good point there.
I mean, if you have 2 monitors,
I have, yeah,
You
3.
put
3 is a good amount
the
to
one
be able to
game
play
on
2
to the
games at
right
once.
and Monster Hunter on the left, or whatever the dominant one is.
Yeah.
And, while you're just kind of waiting for everyone to get their items ready, get their food and stuff, you're like, I'm ready to go. I know what I'm about. I've been prepped. You can just be playing through the other game.
I think you might be onto something there. Good chance. But I'll see how it goes. But definitely, I'll give it a shot.
Faden, the notorious game addiction enabler.
Look, I'm just I try to stick to a philosophy of I try to play usually 2 games a month. That's like I play my evil games I don't like to talk about, but I play my game club game, and then I play my other game.
Yeah.
And I guess it's time for me to talk about my other game.
Yeah, what have you been playing?
So I've been playing, Hecky Almo, Red to Blue, 6 to 1, Hair to Hair. I've been playing 1,000 times Resist. Game that it came out last year. It is by Sunset Visitor. This is a game about resistance in using the Hong Kong protests.
Okay.
As like a metaphor, overarching, not metaphor because it also happens in the game.
Okay.
You kind of experience bits of it. It's about let me describe the opening game.
Yes.
You don't play as. You see this woman in blue stab this woman that looks exactly like her in black.
Right.
And you get to say a few things, like you get to say you like Red to Blue, 6 to 1, Hair to Hair, or Hecky Almo, it's these religious terms I have.
Okay.
You come to learn that this is a society of clones of this one girl, and they all worship the originator as the All-Mother. And so it's like Hecky Almo is grace to the All-Mother, like stuff like that. And it's all like in this perspective of this Hong Kong immigrant. First generation, actually. Well, a Hong Kong immigrant family. They have a daughter. It's like 2047 now. And the earth is under siege by a disease that makes people cry and burns them up with a fever, and it kills basically everyone.
Oh. What's the gameplay? What do
you walk around and talk to people.
Oh, okay.
There is like no combat whatsoever. It's just a complete narrative game. And you also have this ability. You play as Watcher, the woman in blue that stabs the All-Mother. You come to learn at like the beginning of the game. Like you learn that very early. Like, oh shit, something happened.
Okay.
So you play as Watcher, as her thing is to observe. That's her function. Every sister has a function. It's like Watcher, Bang Bang Fire, who's the security person, Healer, Fixer, Principal. I feel like I'm missing one. Someone else. And yeah, there's also this like miscellaneous clones that don't have a true function yet, and they're trying things, but usually they're categorized. So you just call them a Sister Blue.
Okay.
And stuff, and people don't have like names, and it's a very I don't know how to describe it. Very cyberpunky.
I was gonna say
this is very dystopian.
It's a very dystopian,
the classic dystopia.
Yeah, I was gonna say cloning is this like
Destruction of the
futuristic,
individual.
where
Right.
flying cars and
Well, no.
okay,
You're in this place called the Orchard,
gotcha.
which is this enclosed thing.
Lots of proper nouns that are vague and
Right.
yeah, this is very classic.
You have a
dystopia.
simulated sky, and there's a
Yep.
train that takes you to the surface.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Right. The occupants are the things that cause the sickness.
Oh,
Yes. I want to be vague because
yeah.
A game worth playing.
this is a really great story. So the thing I really enjoy getting outside of proper nouns, it's like I really just like the setting. I like the characters. There's a lot of personality imbued on all this same woman being cloned and having different roles in society and stuff. And I think I have like small quibbles with, its form of resistance. There's like kind of a message in this game at one point where it's just like, why are we doing this? And this person says, to make them know that we didn't go quiet, that somebody was resisting it. And I'm just like, okay, but why?
Yeah.
Like, why? And you never really get that sort of aspect of it, like, especially with the Hong Kong perspective, which I was wondering, like, they're very thoughtful about this, the people making these, because, they're all just, like, writing through their experiences and stuff. And so I'm also not knowledgeable about it, but I wish there was just more specific, like, just... I wish the message was clearer in a way. Maybe I missed something. I just wish it more honed to a point to really like jam.
You wish the point wasn't so vague to where you felt like there wasn't either.
Well, it felt like the point was, the point we resist is to let people know we didn't go quietly.
Gotcha.
And I'm like,
let people know we didn't agree with this.
Authority bad.
Right.
Yeah.
And like in the way they have the thing they do really well is set up these like dystopian societies where like all that stuff, all the clone stuff, all the sisters. I love them. They're great. This game also does something brilliant that made me go, oh shit, this game rules. It like kind of changed how I viewed the game. And when it shifts your expectations and perspective like that, you go, fuck.
That's cool.
That's cool, especially when it does it right. And
Yeah.
it really does. It really does do it because you're also just like you go into the All Mother's memories is like the premise of the Watcher. She has to go in and view the things. It's called communing.
Gotcha.
You commune with sisters and you take them through the stories of the All Mother, like clone genetic memory and stuff, whatever. And it's really interesting too that you see like, hey, 2047 society. What's that like?
Big old box. Put all people in there. No crying.
Imagine you're a person who's just naturally predisposed to be depressed.
Yeah.
In this society, and it's very much about that too: teen angst, emotion, all that, and it just really juggles that really well. And yeah, I think it's really good. It has some very ethereal music.
What's it called again?
Yeah.
1000x resist.
1000.
I say 1000 times resist. I think that's what it's
Okay, I was
supposed
gonna say, is there 1,000 people, or is that just like we're resisting 1,000? A lot.
I actually, you know what? I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know what the title means, really.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
It's a good title, though.
Yeah.
I really like it.
I like it.
It's really good. I highly recommend anyone try this game if this is sounding slightly interesting.
One more question. Does it like, are you like making decisions in this game at least, or is it just dialogue? You're
making dialogue decisions and character decisions that way.
I guess that was my one.
It's still a pretty linear story.
I'll say, does it branch to different endings?
It kind of does.
Okay.
Yeah.
You basically will be taking a lot of perspectives and will have to make a choice about things.
Gotcha. Okay.
Which, again, being vague.
Yeah.
One part I really do like is there's at one point like just like a different cast of clones, and like the phrase that this clone says is, "Oh, it's about fucking time you grew a spine," and like their job is to be like cheery and happy.
Yeah.
And so it's just like just out of nowhere, just like breaks. It's like great. you're fucking learning.
One thing I wonder then,
I love it.
if you have to answer a question in some way and like go down a certain path, when you're playing a game like that, do you make decisions based off what the character would do, or do you inhabit the person? And these are decisions that you would personally make.
That's a good question.
It's always a bit of both, right?
Yeah.
I feel like there's like no way to like.
So you would say it's almost like kind of flows between you start the story off with a character that
I guess I try to make the decisions that would make sense for the character's perspective always.
Okay.
But I feel like that's like always trying to habit someone with role playing in general.
Yeah.
It's always kind of like that.
Yep.
But I guess some people would be like, I'm taking my context of the world and making these choices.
Yep.
Whereas, but like, I don't know. I feel like especially at the end, the things I said and did was like very much of this character has gone through this perspective.
Yeah.
And I'm also bringing in my stuff to it because of like how I feel about things. But also this character is good in a point where you can infer onto her like that.
Gotcha.
Which I like.
Yeah.
It really colors your own playthrough.
Yeah.
Kind of like another game we all played this month.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah.
If you really think about it.
Good transition.
No.
It's a transition.
Look, we're transing our segments over here, okay? Yeah, so we played. Man, I should pull up my notes. Let's take a second.
I can't remember. Hang on. What's it called?
Tired.
Something to do with rest.
No, I remember the name of the game.
Community of Resters twice.
Yeah. But not very high ranking, like a citizen?
Yeah.
Right, a citizen of some sort. We played
Tuckered Citizen.
Tuckered Citizen 2. Yeah. We played Citizen Sleeper 2.
Yeah. Couldn't tell you which way it goes. Either it's Sleeper Citizen or Citizen Sleeper, but
should we pitch it in an elevator?
Yeah, we should pitch it in an elevator. Yeah. So here at Club Flashpoint, we like to do a 30-second elevator pitch to pitch the game as if you got an executive of some sort, or a king, or like a monarch, or like some sort of like what is it, bureau sort of person in a politically just society where this is their job to listen to these sort of pitches, and this is just the only time they had in their busy schedule.
Yep, naturally.
What are those called? It's not the Politburo. What are those called? There's like a name for these people in this society.
My boss.
I've lost
In
the
like
thread.
a communist
I'm sorry.
society.
What
there's
are
like
you?
the name of the political people.
Bureaucrats? You're talking about bureaucrats?
Am I talking about? No, it's a different name. I don't know why, and it's bugging me. It's not important. So
I have no idea what you're talking about.
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I don't know. It doesn't. Why is it my brain is wanting to stick on this? So, who would like to do the elevator pitch this time? Let's pick Uncle.
It's been a minute since I've done one.
Uncle, you have 30 seconds on the clock to pitch Citizen Sleeper 2 to this person whose function is he's a bureaucrat. All right, on your mark. Get set. Go.
All right, so you know how we're in the elevator and then there's like it shifts between floors sometimes. You feel kind of weightless for a 2nd. So what if you were like doing that like all the time? Like you were always weightless and you were out in space like on this galactic belt on a different place, and is this corporate society. Can you imagine that? Like a corporately built society where everything was run by these corporations and people had to figure out how to survive their lives and make decisions. And what if you were like a slave, like a wage slave? Can you imagine that, sir?
All right,
Wouldn't that be crazy?
I could imagine that. That would be crazy. Tell me more.
Wouldn't that be just like nuts?
That would be an insane society. Why would you do that to someone?
Yeah. Like all good dystopia, it is not a prediction for the future. It is a criticism of the present. That is a good way, I think, to describe this game.
Yeah, so we played Citizen Sleeper 2. Came out, fairly recently. This might be the most
Up to date and recent
game we've ever done. Well, no, the first episode of this podcast was also like that.
Okay.
Interesting. Anyways,
The long ago.
January
Before
31st, 2025, developed by Jump Over the Age, Gareth Martin thing. Martin? Is that? Man, I'm sorry.
Names
I'm sorry. I know
there's
it's
a hole in my brain where names are supposed to go.
Published by Fellow Traveler. I've been playing a
Fellow
lot of,
Traveler, I know.
but
Yes.
Fellow Traveler also published 1000 Time Resist too.
Oh, nice.
Just
Okay.
it's a funny coincidence. Sequel to also, another game we played, Citizen Sleeper.
I think I
classic.
made that my game of the year last year, didn't
Yep.
I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last month. We did that last month.
Way long ago.
I think it'll be interesting because I'll have an interesting perspective of not playing the first game actually.
I'm
and then
so curious about this.
I am too, because I had some questions about what are these things we've already interacted with before? Do we know
this
these
is such a
people?
weird question.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Okay.
Yeah.
Somewhat.
And is the main character from the second one the same
No.
characters? Okay.
No.
Different sleeper.
Okay, so it is a sleeper.
You were a
It's
sleeper.
experience.
Similar situation.
No different situation this time, I'd argue.
Yes, but I think the similar situation is that you're still trying to fight to get resources to maintain your life while you're on the run.
Okay, so you
That's
are still running away.
The general
from,
scope of the story has very similar beats to it, I would say.
Yeah, it almost feels like this is a redux of the first game.
A spiritual successor.
Yeah, this
but
really,
also a story sequel.
Okay.
right.
Gotcha.
It's such an interesting. It kind of reminds me almost a little bit like Pathologic 2, but not. I'm just.
Yeah,
kidding.
no, I know, but I see what
It kind
you
of
mean.
is
I
like
see
that
what
where
you
it's like
Yep.
it's a kind of a redone, but also the first one happened and it matters.
Yeah.
And it's
like almost half of the important named characters show up somewhere in the first game.
I was
A third,
not
maybe.
expecting that.
I didn't expect
That's
as
one of my
many-
questions I had was, are the people you're interacting with now?
A lot of them.
Okay, so they probably met that sleeper then that you
Yes.
were.
Yes.
Okay.
So basically, anytime everyone said, I knew a sleeper like you, it was that sleeper.
Yes. Yeah. Anytime anyone references another sleeper, with maybe one or two exceptions,
'cause
they're talking about the character from the
That
first
was
game.
so weird because when I was trying to figure out well, they're saying they met a sleeper like me. Are sleepers just always walking around, and are they always being servants
Your
everywhere?
characters also had amnesia, so you don't
It
necessarily.
was a very interesting experience
Yeah.
because he had no idea about the world. I had no idea about the
Yeah.
world, and then you
Yep.
kind of just go into it from that point. I had a lot of questions going into it, and I think it made the game a lot more confusing, but not to a point where I didn't know what was going on. But I felt like it felt cool because that's the reason I asked that question about are you the person in the game or are you playing as the person in the game.
Yeah.
In this game, I was definitely the sleeper. I made all those choices, and
Yep.
I have a very hard time not playing it like that.
me too. That's why I love
very hard
RPGs
time.
because they usually make it easy for me to self-insert.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and this one's very so to kind of set up the premise. You play as a sleeper in this game. It is a narrative, dice-driven RPG.
Very similar to a system some of us know very well.
Yeah, very Blades in the Dark.
Yeah. It's like a Forged in the Dark game.
Yeah, where you
2d6 for almost everything.
Well, not 2d6. You roll.
Well,
your
yeah, it's different.
It's just it's six-sided die that basically you have every day, every single cycle. You
5
start off
actions.
with 5 actions
Yeah.
to start off, and all those 5 actions they roll a die, and normal 6-sided, and closer to 6, you will succeed. 6 is an automatic success.
Yep.
1 is 50% chance neutral, 50% chance negative.
Yeah.
And
An event can be either positive, neutral, or negative based on what you roll and apply, and based off what character buffs you gave yourself on what class you chose.
Yep, you get to choose some classes, upgrade some points. Those will add some buffs, benefits. New to this game is the push system.
Ah, okay.
Not a part of the first game, and I will say this: I basically did not engage with the push mechanic in this playthrough. Yeah, and I'll tell you, when I stopped engaging with it, I immediately started doing a lot better. I'll tell you more about that later. But yeah,
Whoa.
yeah, I barely. So I think maybe we should talk about the classes we chose because that does set the stage somewhat for the kind of playthrough you're gonna have.
Yeah, we all play as sleepers. These yeah, we should just
do some scene setting because this is
describe
a pretty
what a
unique
sleeper
universe.
is to me, Uncle.
Yeah, a sleeper is if you have. So here's an analogy. If you have any experience with, what is that classic cyborg-oriented anime that I am forgetting right now, where you are
Ghost in the Shell?
Ghost in the Shell. There are some parallels with Ghost in the Shell. You are an emulated personality inhabiting a humanoid cyborg body or synthetic body. So it's vinyl skin. It's organ-like mechanical components. And in many, many ways, you are identical to a human being, but there are some significant differences. Obviously, you have greater potential in some capacities, especially for physical there you're pretty plugged into networks if you want to be, if you play like an operator, which is the class I chose. And there are also some serious limitations to trying to emulate a full human personality in a mechanical mind, a computer. And as a part of being a sleeper, the essential element of being a sleeper is that you are a slave to the company that makes them.
SNARP.
Which certainly looks like SNRP if you were to look at an abbreviation. And SNRP, anyway, doesn't matter. SNRP builds you because whatever personality of the human being you're emulated from incurred some debt with them.
Or they just sold their mind. That's the other thing.
That's
true
too. Yeah.
They don't have to have any debt. They could have just been like, I'll sell my mind, sure.
Yeah.
Which is also dark.
I think you have to be in a pretty dark place to do that. And
Some people don't care.
That's true.
When you
I
sell your
guess.
mind, is your body dead?
No.
You're put into like a storage, right?
Is it a copy system where it's you copy your brain and then it goes into
the robot,
yeah.
Okay, so there's now two consciousnesses of you?
with its
Yes.
memories wiped is the essential thing. So
Interesting.
Memories.
They say, well, you keep some core experiences, but you do not have any concrete memories from your life as a human being. And so part of what the sleeper has to deal with is, am I even that person?
Yeah.
Am I still?
Was I that person?
Can I say I was like this or am like this? What do I owe that body? Because some sleepers are, you are forced to be a sleeper until you pay off the debt of the person you are emulated from.
Your character and many of the other machines in this game, it's constantly asking the question of what is consciousness and what do you see as consciousness and what does that mean to you for a lot of it.
Well, and this is also like very specifically too about dementia.
Yeah.
And losing the loss of memories.
Yes.
I think just general human physical and mental decline.
Yeah.
For sure. You
Degradation.
have to grapple with mortality
Yeah.
a lot, constantly.
Yep.
And I think that's a very important part of the story.
Yeah.
But so I think a key difference between the first game and second game is that narratively, at least in the first game, you're still addicted to stabilizer.
Okay.
Which is just a substance that
Not addicted. You just need it to avoid
I mean,
planned obsolescence.
Yes, it's a substance that tells your body to not destroy itself. That is how SNARP keeps a leash on you.
Gotcha.
Like our phones.
Or many other technologies. You
Yeah.
know,
Just
like,
technology in general.
Yeah, it's like all technology has some form of planned obsolescence.
Looking at my computer.
Yeah. this is a good substitute for that, an analog for that.
Gotcha.
It's also just an analog, I think, in general for living wage. You have to sell yourself to a company
to exist in this society. Yeah,
Yes.
there's no.
Oh, and also this one, gig work.
Yes,
This
is
is
a
the
gig
gig
economy.
economy game.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is an economy where very few people have full-time
Oh,
singular jobs.
yeah,
You are
doing
always just
contract
doing
work.
contract
Gotcha.
gigs. Which sucks for the individual and
Yeah.
makes it really easy
dire.
for bosses to exploit.
Yeah.
Yunjin.
This is a very
really falling
Oh,
into it.
jeez, yeah.
yeah.
So I'm curious, what are the classes and what was the push?
Yeah.
Or like your special tree that you could
I
interact
chose
with?
operator, so I cannot ever get better at endurance.
Okay.
So the endurance skill
blocked off.
endure skill. Yeah, totally blocked. Which that's a mechanic here I like.
Yep.
Yes.
You choose a class, there is an ability you will never get better at.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you'll always be bad at
You'll
it.
always
the
be
first
the
game,
worst
you
at
could
it.
you could upgrade all of them.
Which I think naturally makes you attached to a certain companion because they can endure,
Yes.
and so you're
So
base.
I used Yujin for almost every almost every mission. I also just really liked him. I thought he was very interesting.
He's a fucking.
He's a stinker.
He's a
Yeah.
stinker.
Yeah.
I like stinkers.
Dirtbag.
Yeah.
Scumbag.
I love him.
liar.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I knew he was from the beginning. He was pretty damn obvious.
Yeah.
I was like, well, this will be interesting.
I need to go for this thing, and
Yeah.
it
So-
was obvious.
That's what I was an operator in the first game. I was like, you know what? I like this class. I like the fragility it kind of gives off. I really wanted to play with that, so I went hard into that.
Gotcha.
What about
You're
you,
the
Max?
hacker type too.
I am the hacker. I'm always
Yeah.
the hacker.
Like
type.
in our
The
Salvage
wizard-
Union campaign,
Yeah,
you're the hacker.
if there's an option to play a wizard, I'm going to go as close to wizard as I can usually. So
I ended up going with Machinist.
Nice.
Funnily, the reason I chose that is because I love playing Machinist in Final Fantasy 14. So
that's a good reason.
I was like, oh yeah, hell yeah.
I know that word.
Yeah, I know that word. I've seen that one. But Machinist was
What do you not get to do as a machinist?
you don't get to what's the like interact with people one?
Engage.
Engage. You can't
Yeah.
engage. You can't do anything, but you are very good at engineering, and you can interface, and you can endure, which is like just lowest one. But funnily enough, I lost Eugene pretty early, and so I had to put a lot of points into endure so I could be our endure because I had no one else that could endure at that point.
Yeah, he's really your only option as a
So
companion.
I quickly maxed out the engineering skill, so I always had a +2. So I just always succeeded on engineering.
Yep.
And then my push ability allows me to incur.
I didn't say anything about my push.
Yeah, do that. do
yeah,
that.
yeah, the thing you never use.
Yeah, the operator. The thing that you never use is you can. It starts out if you upgrade it, it does different things. But it starts out at the cost of 1 stress. Which if you incur enough stress, it'll start breaking your dice, and you can
sorry,
do
you
less.
pushed-
And
things.
you have less than 5
Yeah.
actions per turn until you fix it,
yeah,
which is a
Or-
rare currency.
Yeah.
Or until you go all the way down, and then you lose all your die, and then you get a permanent glitch die.
Yep.
Oh,
That happened to me once. I
Happened
did
to
get
me
a
once, too.
I did not experience that. I just assumed as I
I
didn't even think that far. I didn't
just
think I wouldn't
scraped-
have all my dice.
I just scraped out of a contract, but I reached that point, and it permanently glitched one of my. But and then later I did get it wasn't actually permanent. It was repaired with the help of a friend. But anyway, so you get to re-roll for your push mechanic as an operator, your lowest die.
You re-roll it.
You re-roll it
Gotcha.
once, which. You can turn a 1 into a 1 again.
Yeah.
It's something I found the first 3 times I fucking pushed. So it kind of deterred me
From using it.
Because honestly, and I will say this, I used it maybe a grand total of 8 times across my entire playthrough. Half of the time it made my situation no better or worse.
Yeah.
And so I just, the stress that I was incurring wasn't worth it. Now, eventually you can reroll more dice. You can protect yourself from dice damage if you invest in the push mechanic. I didn't, and the outcome was before I was done, I had maxed out every skill that wasn't endure, and so I was
close.
I was a one sleeper dynamo. Very
You become
easy
very
rolls.
strong and very hard to fail things.
Yes, I wasn't incurring all this extra stress by pushing.
Yep.
So I protected my dice pretty well.
The machinist push is for the cost of 1 stress. You add a bonus to your lowest die, and then if you get a positive result from doing that, you remove 1 stress.
Yeah.
So it's a free +2.
That's pretty nice.
If it's positive.
Yes, but
And
that's good.
it was very, very strong, and I used it constantly. If I realized I didn't use my push that turn, I was like, what the hell am I doing?
Yeah.
I could have gotten a better chance there. And the upgrade tree for it is 2 different modifiers. The left side was at the end of it, if you get a positive result, -2 stress, -3 stress on the next one. And so you could lose all of your stress during a contract, not have to worry about stress at all, which I didn't do that tree. I think that would have made my experience a lot easier, but I was greedy, and I did the right side where it was your bonus is now +1, an additional +1, and then and then one below that, and another +1.
You're getting consistent results from that, though.
Yes, I am. And so
Not
it's like
losing
the
stress.
pushability was always a guaranteed good thing for me to do,
Yeah.
which I didn't have any like wishy-washy, like should I re-roll this 2 and hopefully I get like something higher or
See, I hate gambling.
Hate to
so
see- yeah.
the push was I knew I was going to struggle with the push mechanic. And
Yep.
that's
so I didn't even have to think about. It was weird when I was experiencing push. I'm like, why wouldn't I just always do this every turn?
Yeah.
That makes sense. Is that I built it? I definitely built it in the way where I was always getting a positive result from that, and I would always just get a free +3. I wouldn't have to worry about the incurred stress about pushing the push button, and it was always going to be a better thing, getting bonuses to my lowest dice.
Yeah, so I believe it's called the Extractor, right?
it's
Could
gotta be.
It's definitely not
couldn't remember.
machinist.
Yeah, I can't think of any other words. So
All right.
Yeah.
This push mechanic is you add to your crew members' lowest dice.
that's so good.
Oh wow,
yes.
that's super nice.
And I got it upgraded so every time I would push, it would be +2 to the lowest die, and it would affect actually both die. So it'd be +2 to
dang!
both die.
Holy
yeah.
crap,
Nice.
that's really strong.
That's
For
awesome.
both crew members. So
Yeah.
it'd just go bloop.
That's awesome.
Wait, it's for both dice on both crew members?
Yeah,
That's
that's the last
that,
upgrade.
that allows you, I think, to much more effectively use more crew members.
Right,
Because,
yeah.
But you also, you got to realize, don't have any stress removal.
Oh, so you're constantly incurring
yeah.
stress from
So
that.
I was, throughout this entire game, repairing my dice, letting them
Sheesh.
break on purpose.
Yeah.
Even
to make that mechanical, and then dealing with glitch die. I got my permanent glitch die because I got too much stress.
Oh dang! You know, because you don't know about permanent glitch dice until the very end if you've never seen one. So
Yeah.
I didn't know about it until I got to the very end because I got to keep removing stress whenever my guy was feeling a little too much.
Yeah, no, I was the most stressed out sleeper. I had to think about, all right, I can afford to like start getting hits on 2s.
yeah.
And I can do one more after that. Like I had to like think about like, all right, what can I afford to get hit on? What should I purposely get hit on?
Yeah.
And how does that like manage my stress on my way back? Because when you come back from contracts, you lose 5 stress, which is really nice. And hell yeah, I love Blades in the Dark. This game rules. Just push yourself for stress to get a benefit.
That's really cool that you got to use your
amazing.
health of your dice as an economy because, well, you had to do that. You didn't get to when you're doing your push stuff.
Have the option. I really had to think about that stuff.
Yeah.
It was rough going at first.
I think I had the best class for me to play through this game on because this game stressed me out so much when I was playing it. Because I don't want things to fail. I don't want my friends to not be able to succeed in their goals that they want. And so it was devastating when you got a bad result.
For some odd reason, as a dummy, when I heard, oh yeah, you'll be going on contracts, you can accept missions and stuff, I was like, oh yeah, these will just be like simple little like narrative things going out.
Increased stress.
And no, every single contract is its own like grand special. This is the thing you're building towards.
Yeah.
the
I think it's
contract
the
is
coolest new aspect of this
the
game.
contract is the climax. It's not just a thing to let you do more stuff.
Yeah, you build
It
up
is.
to do these.
You build up to do the contracts, and they are so cool.
Yeah.
So good. The tension you get like from each of those moments, especially towards the end of a contract, is really rewarding when you succeed.
Yeah.
Especially when you're racing against a clock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The clocks are killer in this game. I tried to play this like Citizen Sleeper 1, and that's what caused my glitch die thing. I kept thinking I can just do what I used to do, and I'll just be fine.
Yeah.
And
It's-
no.
you can play a lot more. The first game's a lot safer, I think, in general.
This one I had to think about.
I'd be curious to talk about every person's worst moment. What was the worst thing that happened? Because
Yeah.
for me, it was the first like 15 minutes of the game where
Yeah.
I failed everything.
Yeah.
And that first contract you do,
Yep.
it all failed. And
Yep.
then I felt horrible after that. I'm like, I just lost everything, and I'm permanently damaged too. So everything I tried to, I dug myself a huge hole, and I have to try to dig out of it. And I think learning that early on in the game just told me the stakes of everything and how badly it can impact. And I after that point, I was like, okay,
Yeah, what contract was it? Do you remember? Or,
it
like,
was
what's
June.
Like
Who's the-
June G.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Solheim facility.
Yes.
With the like the
they get the core or
ship.
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was my first. That was everything went wrong. With
Yes.
that one.
I also screwed that one up pretty bad. I ultimately succeeded. I did not complete the steps that follow afterwards that are on Hexport. Like Hexport blew up before I could finish all that.
Which oh my god,
That was
Yeah.
that really blew my mind.
the writing in this way better.
Some of it is, yeah, I would say.
I think that's true. Some of it is.
yeah.
I have some quibbles about
I think
endings.
I think the first half of this game is a lot better than Citizen
It's
Sleeper
so
1.
tight.
Yeah.
I just like thinking about the beginning of this game, and it's really good.
It's really good. But that was also my big screw up.
Yeah.
I will say though, and I think I told Faden this like after I was pretty decent way through. I just got some remarkably lucky results. And so I had a pretty golden playthrough. Like,
Gotcha.
Basically after that first screw up, basically nothing but success. I didn't fail a single contract except for the Eugene one where I don't even know if you can succeed that. You can get the ship?
I did.
Okay, so
I didn't.
I didn't get the ship. I will say I'm really curious how, because I don't know how I failed it. I was succeeding throughout the whole experience. So
I think it's
I don't know
That's
where
a ridiculous one.
I don't know what the failure was, but I didn't get it. I saved him though, and so I got to keep using him.
It's not necessarily you get the ship. It's more that you get the conditions to be able to use the fraction drive.
Okay,
yeah.
gotcha,
Okay.
yeah.
So we didn't do that.
Yeah.
But literally other than that, I succeeded every contract. I did every contract, and I did very well.
Let me paint the picture of my.
Yeah.
It was bad.
Yeah.
It was atrocious.
Yeah.
So completely, like when we went out with Junie to go get her archival memory core, to get it for those fucking cables to fix the ship.
Yep.
Right at the beginning, like everything went wrong. I got so stressed out. I just failed everything. Ship broke apart. Bomber mission.
Yeah.
So we had to rely on stealing the cables.
Mm-hmm.
And then I decided, well, maybe I could get the money though. Sorry, I didn't decide stealing the cables then. I was like, maybe I could still get the money.
Yep.
So we had to do the drone wreck salvage.
Okay.
With Nia.
I actually did that one first, and everything went perfectly.
I don't think I ended up doing that one.
Yeah,
barely did it.
I did that one right away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We barely did it, except I fully broke down.
Oh wow.
And so I got my first permanent glitch die there.
I did that on
Holy
the Junie mission.
crap.
I fully broke down on the Junie mission.
And so I just had that glitch die for so long,
Yep.
and it was never kind.
Yeah.
And I was always breaking down die. I would have like 2 to 3 die most of the time. my entire play.
Wow.
For the first like maybe 60 days, 70 cycles.
Wow.
I was in a war.
I pretty much always had 5 dice.
And then when I finally broke out, everything was golden.
Wow. Yeah.
It went fine. I had never failed another mission.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah.
And I did everything right. But it was always the most stressful. I had to plan. I had to stop. I had to think. I had to think about every single step. I had to be conscious of supplies, way more than I think you normally would have to be.
Yeah.
Conscious of fuel.
I will say it might have just been my playthrough, but I think I was more worried about stabilizer in the first game than I was about fuel and food in this game.
Oh yeah, really?
Yeah. I think again probably just this particularly golden playthrough I had.
Yeah.
But I don't think I had to worry about fuel except for there was one time I got stuck at the Hellion Gate. And you can only get fuel.
I did that too.
You can only get fuel by doing the endure thing.
Nope.
That was my worst skill. So
Hellion Gate was perfect for me. That was my rest stop because I was.
And I was thinking about that while I was like,
Yeah.
this is going to be one of the easiest, most go-to locations for some people, but this is an impossible location. Well, not impossible. I got out.
Right.
But-
I couldn't. My thing was I could never earn money. I was always broke.
And Machinist is amazing at making money because
my guy.
because
operator,
I just do the engineering thing constantly over and over again, so I get paid and I get scrap on top of that, which can be used. Machinist, if you're really worried about stressing out in this game and don't want to just rely on luck the entire time to get there, Machinist will set you up with all the tools to remove your stress and repair your dice. And you will I never experienced a permanent glitch dice. I rarely had glitch dice because I would repair my stuff and have a bunch in reserve. So I'd always use the advanced pieces and only get one glitch dice. And then one thing, though, I thought was interesting about this game is, so in Hexport, my ending specifically just felt completely tragic because I did the contract like one tick away from when we had to leave.
Yeah.
And then I didn't leave because I couldn't. And when that happens, Seraphin gets... I don't know if Seraphin was like completely injured your guys' playthrough.
Yeah, he was.
Okay.
Yep,
All right.
That's established.
Yep, I figured.
I didn't think it would be. I figured that I did that, though.
Me too. I felt like I did it, and Seraphin is currently in just injured state.
Yeah.
But so like I failed the contract with Junie. Right. So I everything broke down. It was bad. I didn't break myself. I think I just left early. I'm like I can't do this. No, it just broke me left, and there was nothing left to do.
Yeah.
And I wasn't completely broken down, but I was taking a lot of stress. I didn't know how getting rid of dice worked at that point because I think I just skipped over that. And so I was like, why are these 3 bars underneath my each dice or 4 whatever it was? And I was confused through that, probably about through 75% of the game because I also never really broke any dice. I had pretty low stress throughout.
I would say it took me a while before I fully understood it.
Yeah.
I just wasn't paying attention.
I would fail dice rolls.
I was
at time.
very aware of it.
Yeah.
I was very, very aware of it.
I would fail dice rolls at time, but it would never be to the impact of like, I never saw the extra bad stuff of you lose dice if you lose too many things and incur a lot of stress because I just never incurred that much stress. But anyways, end of Hexport. I lose a contract. I come back. I can't leave. Fane, is it? What's the main bad guy?
Lane.
Yeah.
Lane.
Great villain, honestly.
Yeah.
Threatening, the most threatening aura business guy.
Yeah. And so I was stressed because what my stream of consciousness was, I complete this contract, I come back, I lose. This mission we're trying to do, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
And what happens is my guy gets knocked out, and the next time I wake up, Hexport exploded. And so it was all one. So I thought it was like because I failed the contract, this bad thing happened.
Yeah.
This bad thing happened, and then Hexport blows up. I didn't so. Again, with me not playing the first game, I was fully in this amnesia state of the game of I don't know how the game works. I don't know how the rules work.
I was going to say that's one of the things I really like about this is I think it's designed that way.
Yeah. From that point on, where when I saw Lane's meter, I attributed that with if I don't leave, he's going to blow up this place.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened.
And so
it was pretty easy to stay ahead of him.
It was pretty easy.
I think they should have amped up the pressure on that person.
I think so too.
Maybe I should be playing on the harder difficulty.
Maybe.
Did any of us do that?
No.
Yeah,
I'm not hearing that stress.
Yeah, me either.
It was. I mean, even though it was pretty easy to stay ahead of Lane, it still felt.
There's still pressure.
Yes.
I like every time I'm like, I don't want him. I don't want him coming near.
To explain, listeners,
Yeah.
it's there's a clock every time you go to a new location that if you stay there too long, Lane will show up and something bad
will happen.
None of us found out.
This was
That's how scared we were.
This is like Citizen Sleeper 1's Merryweather clock.
That's right. Yeah, you're,
Okay.
you're being hunted by bounty hunter.
SNR,
Yeah,
send
another
bounty
difference from the
hunters.
first game. You're not just addicted to stabilizer. You also have a tracking device in you.
Gotcha.
And
You're
there is a
constantly
bounty
getting tracked.
hunter coming for you.
Yeah.
and you also only stay in one place.
Yes, you stay in one location the entirety of.
You
and
actually-
That's actually. I'm glad you brought that up because that's something I wanted to talk about. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like there are multiple locations in this game. I somehow feel like this game is smaller than the first game.
It kind of is.
You
In a way that I really like.
I like and dislike it.
It really makes the belt feel really like sparse.
yes,
in
Yeah.
a way
feels
that
sparse,
and that we can like hide
fractured.
people places.
Yeah, it's
This is like the fall of society.
It's much more balkanized than the
Right.
singular central location of the first game, Erlin's Eye.
Orland's
Gotcha.
Eye, which you see mentioned many times, a few
referenced.
times in the
Yeah.
game.
I didn't know how important it was, so I don't even remember it.
Yeah.
But
yeah, no, exactly. You just see some characters just casually
it's
mention
just,
it.
Yeah, it's only referenced
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
a place.
Which every time I'm like pointing the screen, doing the Leo.
I know that.
I know that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Which is why I never had those experiences because I was sleeper. Yeah, but
Yeah.
even not having those references be known and being like, oh, I know that thing.
Yeah,
It was still a cool game to play through and learn about the universe in a character that's supposed to have amnesia, and I also have amnesia in this
Exactly.
world.
Yep. Should we kind of get into the story since we haven't really touched it, the characters and stuff? I
Yeah.
want to talk about characters. I want to talk
Yeah.
about places.
You start with a reboot.
Start with a reboot. It's interrupted by the most threatening man ever. If you watch the trailer, kind of has that voice act, which I think is pretty cool. Like
One thing
that's-
about him is I looked at his tattoo on his chest, and the snake on his chest does have a really goofy face. So I was
Hell yeah.
after I saw that, I was like, this is a lot less threatening.
I love the character art for this so
Yeah.
much. Thank you, Citizen Sleeper 2, so I can have more Salvage Union, NPC
Yeah.
portraits.
Great like just every single character model is iconic, and they don't move. It's
Yeah.
unanimated.
It's just a picture.
just a portrait.
Also,
every one
it
of them
nails
works.
weightlessness.
yeah.
Yes.
Everyone is because
And interesting poses, so
Yeah.
dynamic and
Because they're just 2D pictures
Flavorful.
for these things, people like they're wearing all the things they should be having on. Like every single part of their
Yeah.
character design.
slightly unzipped.
There is a
space
reason
suit.
they just got out of their super duper.
Seraphim gets some costume changes, which I do appreciate.
Yep.
He
Yeah.
gets like, all right, I'm showing off my body, Seraphim. I'm like, yeah.
It was it was really cool. The character art was amazing. Every character. There are a couple times when I'm playing games, if it's a single player game, one of my buddies can't play single player games. He needs to be playing a multiplayer game with other people, and so he'll buy me games to play, and then I play in Discord, and he watches me play.
Oh,
and
nice.
That's funny.
it's the same guy I watch movies with, and we like to critique
Yeah,
and do
yeah.
stuff. So it's like he really enjoys single player games as he can watch them as a movie.
Right, like it's an experience. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's weird.
But yeah, you start out as a sleeper who's being rebooted so that you don't need stabilizer anymore, and you learn also so that Lane can use you and eventually possess you.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lane is transcending his body here. They're transing Lane into the sleeper.
Such a fun verb.
It's such a good word.
Lane has discovered that I could have a free extra body with no consequences to my real body if I just possess you and use you. So
Yep.
they have established this program through your failed reboot. What ultimately fails is your reboot.
Yeah.
Where you are changing your mechanics and your software are changing so that you can. You can become the puppet of Lane, which is
Yep.
pretty horrifying.
Yeah. Spooky.
Yes. Again, losing your personhood
Yeah.
by.
Then make you.
This one is like, instead of its corporation, this one is like underworld corporations. This is the black market
Yeah.
Yeah.
illegal corporations because Lane works specifically for, and I can't remember their name
gang.
right now.
Those guys.
Those guys.
The bad
You
guys.
What?
It starts with an O. I think, or a U. Utsubo.
Oh, Usubo.
Yes.
Yeah, works for
Something
Usubo.
like
Starts
that.
with a U. Yeah.
Yeah.
Usubo. Yeah, so Lane is a lieutenant in Usubu, which is like a underworld, we keep the belt together sort of organization, kind of.
Yeah.
We try, at least in Darkside we do.
There's like some kind of syndicate in Citizen Sleeper 1 that they're almost identical to.
Yeah, it's like the Yargan.
Yes.
Or the Yarpins or
whatever they are. Yeah.
Man, I can never keep track of these corporate
like I said,
names.
there is a hole in my brain where names are supposed to go.
But yeah, man, okay. So Lane's just this like black, like underworld, like assassin, evil guy.
Yeah.
Gotta run from his
Big
ass.
dreams.
Yeah. It almost like, I think the crime has like different heads of things, so he's not necessarily the top guy, I don't
No,
think.
he's not the top guy. He's just a lieutenant who he's inviting the corpo people in
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, you find out later on
virtually all belt governments, to what extent there is decentralized power, are very communal, very council oriented.
Yeah.
Anarcho-communist vibes across the board.
hate the corporation.
And they hate the corporations, and he wants to bring them in.
Yep.
Yep.
Scum.
Yes,
Scum.
absolute scum. Which is ultimately his undoing.
Yes.
because
you tell people and they're like, wait a minute.
wait a minute.
We don't like those
Yeah.
guys.
We might be evil, but we're not that evil.
Yeah, yucky. All right, now let's all be friends.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Building up to
No.
what's
Yeah.
going to happen after this.
DLC.
Yes.
Maybe. Oh, I wonder what they'll do because the Flux DLC was pretty
So
vital to Citizen Sleeper 2.
Yeah,
And so
there are
good.
as many, if not more, characters from the DLC to Citizen Sleeper 1 in Citizen Sleeper 2.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
A lot of the characters.
Everyone from the Ember Step.
Yeah.
The
Oh,
pilgrims.
the planet that explodes into fire or
Yeah.
whatever.
The-
Not
the-
exploded, blows up, but like it's got like a lava surface now.
Yeah, the mercenary crew you compete with to get the drive for Eugene.
Yep.
The bald guy,
Peter.
shaved
Yep.
guy, Peter. Yep, he's from that. The head of the green belt, she's from that.
Okay, yep.
Yep. Aki.
Yes. Yeah.
I love her.
Anyway, yeah.
I was so happy to see
The
her.
DLC from the first game really is an incredible experience, though. I'm excited to see what I think will inevitably come for this game. I think there will be something.
I hope so. This game's really good. Bliss was the crew member I brought to every contract because she had the skill I needed.
She had engineering.
Or
I never
they have the skill.
when I had less than two, they were with me until I had other people, but I had engineering, so I didn't need her skill, so I never really talked to her a bunch.
Yeah, they're
Them.
Yeah, Bliss. They are
a lot of good non-binary characters.
A lot of good
Yes.
non-binary
Lots of them.
characters.
And transcoded in for some
Oh,
characters,
yeah.
I'd
Yes.
say.
Yep.
Yeah.
I always I love that Bliss had a toxic relationship with Ankita,
Yes.
Oh yes.
who is also from the first
From the
one.
first game.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is like, when she showed up, I literally went, oh shit, we're fucked.
Yeah.
This is not good.
And Kita fucked some shit up in the first game.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When
Because-
that was like the only real one where I went, fuck, oh god.
Yeah.
That's
That was a big reveal.
That's funny because I went through that thinking they were a pretty lame character, where it was just like, because I didn't know anything about them.
Yeah.
The character they are in the second game is a bit of a turn from the
Yeah.
character
I
they
was
are
gonna
in the
say, 'cause it's
first
like,
game.
this is just
but it
another-
definitely makes sense for Ankita.
does.
Yeah.
Especially with the ending that
Yeah.
you probably get with Ankita in the first
yeah,
game.
they were just like, I'm hiding in this gang, and I actually don't like the gang. And I'm like,
She's on a
okay,
mission.
whatever.
Yeah.
And so whenever they're on screen, I'd listen to what they have to say, but I'd just be like, I wouldn't really.
I
put a lot of
liked
part
their
into it.
dynamic with Bliss. Their relationship felt so rancid.
Yeah, it
in
was
every
bad.
scene, and
Yeah.
it's great. I love that stuff. So that's the thing that I mostly loved about it.
That's why I was auditioning, because I was like, I never had them, and so there was never interactions at all until the end, where it's just like, well, I don't want to make her mad. I'm like, why would you make Bliss mad? What's your relationship? I don't understand.
yeah.
right. Yeah.
And yeah,
One of the few moments where it's hard to get it unless you played the first game.
Well,
Yeah.
but they didn't really have a relationship.
Not a huge one, but I
No.
think Bliss is a part of the ending of
Of
Nikita.
Kida. Yeah. You see them go off together, and
Yes, I think so.
that's man.
Yeah.
Imagine going with them, and then they start hooking up in that small ship, and it's like, Jesus Christ, this would be fucking miserable, and they would be the worst together.
They would.
Yeah, Bliss. They are just a different character in this one, kind of.
They're very different.
They're
They're still
grown.
kind of a mess, but
They're a mess, but a different kind of mess.
yeah, a managed mess.
A managed mess. They really have got their shit together, but it's
Yeah.
still at any moment threatens to come off the scene. Yeah, I actually had a genuine question because Bliss is in the game, most of the game.
Mm-hmm.
How'd you feel about them? How'd you like Bliss?
They were my ship tender. They gave me the upgrade for my boat. And they were pleasant whenever they bought into conversations because I never picked them for anything. So they only had very small amount of playtime. They were very nice. They gave me the engine upgrade. So
okay,
good person.
I meant like story wise. I didn't know
there was no story. I didn't get any story. So
I guess the people who you take really kind of you get the interactions with them. So I just feel like for me, since I always took Bliss, I'm like, Bliss is in everything.
Yeah,
always
so
suiting
a
up.
very non-known character for me because I didn't experience them through the story.
I took Bliss on a lot of my missions early on because I wasn't investing right away in engineering or in intuition, which are what Bliss is good at. Mm-hmm. So I took Bliss on a few missions, and I thought they were like you said, different than the first game, and that kind of surprised me a little bit. Mm-hmm. But I ultimately didn't find them that interesting compared to some of the other. Like I don't know, they just didn't really surprise me that much.
They always felt like a moderating voice that the ship always needed, and that's something I just appreciate.
I appreciate their character.
Yeah.
I wasn't having fun with their character. I don't know. I like Eugen. Always got something interesting.
Yeah, Eugen, the scumbag.
Where's the bar?
Yeah.
every time you land, it's like, all right, hitting the bar, bye.
I liked Junie, even though I never needed her because that was my skill. I still like Junie.
Junie's great.
I just really like the character.
I had Junie a lot for a lot of the
kid
things that
type
I did.
that is a rascal, but also
I would
into so much trouble.
I took Cadet a couple times.
Cadet's cool.
Even though I
cool.
didn't need to.
I like Cadet.
But I liked Cadet, so
Cadet,
I would take
cool
Cadet
design.
on missions I didn't need them for.
Air bike delivery service.
Yeah.
I love the Cadet scenes. Just I love how the writing really captures the no gravity thing. It's very concerned with characters kicking off the wall, like this way that they spin. Let's talk
it's
about
especially important for my favorite character, the Stray, the cat you get to have on your
cat.
boat.
This cat rules.
I fed that cat so many
cool.
supplies.
Me too. I love how it's described as like it moves like liquid because it's only ever known no gravity, and so it naturally just springs about and slides. Oh, it's so beautifully described.
It's such a good detail too that animals don't go out into zero gravity.
No.
You don't see animals. Seraphin's like, what the hell is that? Pointing at the cat.
Yeah.
Like, I've never seen one before.
Yeah. The green belt is the only place where there's like an
ecosystem,
an ecological habitat. That's something I think about a lot in this game. It's not, you don't talk about it a lot because most of the characters have only ever known these space stations as their lives. Like I thought about that a lot playing, is like how radically different life on a fucking space station would be from living on a planet like we do, and how I think impossible it would be for many of us to do that.
Yeah, Seraphin is the main support character of the game.
Good buddy.
Great way to spell Seraphin too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's
very sci-fi,
very clever. I really do love it.
This game reminded me of I just want to tie in a TV show, The Expanse. I don't know if you ever watched that space one.
Yep.
I felt because they also tried to respect how gravity worked, how space
confirm your vectors.
Yeah,
make sure you got enough
you're
fuel.
going in this direction until you put direct engines the other direction, the other way. So
this is very hard sci-fi in a lot of ways. There's not much.
Battlestar Galactica's space battles are like that too.
Yep, they are. I started watching. Yeah, it's fun when they want to respect it makes the immersion so much more real. Because yes, that is what's going to happen. And I liked how this game didn't necessarily have a food stuff. It's like here's your protein bar. It's like because the other
supplies are kind of like that,
but I like that they had to actually grow the plant matter on a planet, and this is the area where you get your food.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
The water asteroid over there, that's where everybody gets their water.
Yeah. Did either of you get to grow fungus on your ship?
I threw it out.
Oh,
you threw it out.
If you grow fungus, another thing, if you played the first game, fungus is so helpful.
Gotcha.
You can learn how to forge, not just make your own food, but also make your own stabilizer with fungus. So, having played the first game, fungus are growing on my ship. Yes, please. Yeah. And so, cultivating them, you can use them on a neutral success with a fungus farm is you resupply 2 energy, I think.
Wow.
And if you get a success, you get +1 supply.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So
It makes supply.
So
Yeah.
since you're taking your ship on your contracts,
Yep.
you can resupply mid-contract
That's crazy.
with your fungus.
Uh-huh.
See,
Yeah.
I was already feeling so safe with me removing my own stress as a machinist. I'm like, it was when you have the decision, it's like, this could be bad with integrating into our circuits. We don't want to,
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I don't want to have to use engine parts to repair it down the road.
Yeah.
I'm good on supplies. I'm good on stress. I'm good on energy.
Yeah, you
I'm
didn't
gonna
need it.
I'm gonna
I
chuck the
definitely
fungus
didn't
out.
necessarily even need it,
Yep.
but it was cool to have.
Yeah, I definitely one of the parts
fungi.
where I paused the game and I was like, I don't want to choose the wrong thing here. Should I look up a guide? And I did not. I
Good
did.
for you.
I made the
Yep.
decision myself, and I said, I'm doing okay. I don't need the risk, and I ejected it out the spaceport.
Yeah, you know what? That's fair.
Yeah.
I truly love. I love the different space stations you go to. Too, most of them, they all have
very
very
unique.
good, characterful. This is the spindle. This is where this is where the hub happens.
Yeah.
Right in the middle.
Yeah.
Right in the middle.
Yeah. Was it Fluxport or the which one's the one? I can't remember what it's called. The one where they're all, it's just a bunch of ships.
Oh, Scatteryard.
Scatteryard.
Yeah.
Yeah, Scatteryard.
No, Scatteryard's where
You get your paint job.
Oh,
that's
where
the
you
last
get your paint
location you go to.
Well, no.
Before the
Then the
dark-
hollows after that. And then you can go to the
you're right.
asteroid.
Well, no, I went to the Scatteryard after the hollow.
I went to the
but-
Scatteryard very like right away after I got the ability to go
Yeah.
there.
But what's the place where everything's? It's just a bunch
Ophelia?
of ships. Nope, it's a
It's
bunch
like
of ships welded together. It's where you get
It's where you talk to the doctor.
Yes, the guy who
Oh,
diagnoses.
the flotilla area.
Yeah, I always thought about it as Mass Effect tie-in, the flotilla with the what are they
the
called?
Quarian
The
flotilla.
Quarians, yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah.
Are we playing Mass Effect this year?
Yeah,
Oh
that
my
was the
God.
plan, right?
Was
my
that-
God.
I think that's our December game.
December one?
instead
BioWare
of, instead
December.
of KOTOR. Yeah.
BioWare December.
Yeah. But back to this.
Sorry.
Yeah, cool locations. There's the water place where you can do a strike.
Yeah.
and
that
a mutiny.
that kind of went bad for me. Actually.
Oh yeah, the
Yeah, I
mutiny went
didn't-
very well for me.
There was blood.
Wow,
The
we had a
captain almost
peaceful,
died.
we had a peaceful, bloodless uprising.
No, I did.
We
not have
also
that.
had that. We
No.
succeeded with words.
Nope,
Yes.
nope. I had to punch some people, and I was the punching class, so that makes
Right,
sense.
yeah.
But also very shaken by the violence. That's also where you meet Tala, Seraphine's
Oh, yeah.
sister.
Who is an important character in the first game?
Gives you the keys to the bar at the end.
Yeah,
Like, I gotta go find my brother.
the first person who feeds you, basically.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
yeah.
in the first game.
Yeah.
That's Tala.
Which is why I didn't
Seraphins.
I actually didn't recognize her at all when playing
Really?
this game. I didn't
knew,
remember.
I knew right away because I loved Tala. Tala was one of my
I did too.
favorite NPCs from the first game. So I knew the second I saw her.
Yeah,
I was
no,
like, oh, yeah.
I did not. It went. I only found out like last week after I saw someone make
Oh
a
my
post like, "Oh, I'm
gosh.
so glad Tala came back." I'm like,
That was
That's right.
I think that was the one callback to the first game that really I was like, "Yay!" Tala! Yay!
Yeah, Tala was Seraphine's sister. She works at she works at the water
mine.
crystal.
She's like a real wage slave.
yeah,
Yeah,
indentured.
slave,
Like
slave.
you can't leave here.
Yeah.
"Yep." You not even can't leave here. This ice asteroid. You can't even leave here.
The
this,
cave.
Like, this
Cell.
This out like the specific structure.
Yeah.
You can't even leave the building. Oh,
Yeah.
grim.
And she won't leave until you free everybody.
Yeah,
Yep.
It's great.
yeah. You get an opportunity to free her. She's like,
Nope.
actually, you need to help us with this uprising.
I love every time Seraphine's like, no, we're not doing this.
Yeah, he did not want to do that.
But
I learned it's pretty reliable to just not trust Seraphine's gut.
Yeah, honestly.
Almost every time his gut tells you something, I know I need to think of the opposite direction.
he's just a very cautious man. Is
He
the
is.
real thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
But you're right. You got to throw caution to the wind to survive out here.
Yeah.
And he eventually learns that.
Especially if you're throwing caution to the wind for the sake of someone else. Almost,
Ooh, yeah.
you can pretty reliably count on this game to reward you for helping people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which I love.
Yeah.
It's always good.
I don't think being the good guy should hurt your resources. I think it
Yeah.
should multiply your resources. We help each other because we are better and safer together.
Yeah.
It's a game where the world understands that instinctually.
Yeah.
Like, if you help me out, I'll obviously.
I did enjoy that.
You're not a
how-
good guy because you do charity. You're a good guy because you connect communities.
Yeah, I did enjoy that aspect of it where even though the game is brutal as it can be, if you choose the good option and you succeed, good things will happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though sometimes still bad things happen, though. But you're
Yeah.
there with other people together surviving through
Yeah.
it. Like, the corporations may be coming, but you all are here together right now.
Like, what's the point of having one more cycle if you're not spending it with other people you care about? Cycles are days. in
Yeah,
this game.
cycles are the days.
Yeah, because we don't have a day-night cycle.
There's no sun,
It's-
up,
I mean,
down,
it's space.
sunrise,
Yeah,
sunset.
space. Yeah.
we got to keep units somehow.
Yeah. But it's how do you fill that time? How do you you're gonna fall apart? You're falling apart no matter what. You
Yeah.
are like all people are dying, but you're really falling apart.
Yep.
And how do you make the time you have left worth it?
I like the Flint stuff. We haven't mentioned
Yes.
Flint at all.
One of the late NPCs to the game.
Oh, the
another
other
sleeper.
sleeper.
Yep.
Yep. One of my favorites actually. I
Yep.
think
I love all the Flint
maybe
stuff.
my favorite companion actually. Like in the grand scheme of things, the final contract you do with Flint, I thought was really fun.
Yeah,
one
where you have to set up a fake.
set up an ambush for, the bounty hunter chasing Flint because Flint hasn't deactivated their sleeper
Transponder
homing
thingy.
tracker. Yeah.
tracker.
Yeah.
And they went out for a job and they were just waiting because they.
Yep.
It's, oh.
And tragically, it's another sleeper that's been sent to hunt down and take.
Yeah, a sleeper going to collect another sleeper.
Yep.
Which is just. Man.
Yeah,
It's
it's
so fucked.
very corpo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's what I think. The vibes are nailed pretty well done.
Yeah.
I really like. I really like how specific this game is. And then the
Sure.
other way, unlike 1,000 Time Resist, which I can feel like it was a little vague.
Okay.
This one's very. I have a specific point of view, and I'm going with it. This is how I
Yeah.
think about the world, and
Yeah.
this is what it is. It feels like some stuff though. The last bit of the Ubutsu stuff feels so rushed.
Yep.
At
So-
the dark side.
That is what I was gonna. That's my big critique.
The
for
ending
this game
feels
is
not
yeah,
as good
the last-
as the ending of the first game.
The last third of this game felt like it was ramping down.
Yeah.
Even it's hard to explain, but like it was not a big climactic ending for me. Maybe
Nope.
if I was struggling more, it would have been
Yeah.
a more interesting conclusion. But by the time I got to Dark Side, I was so solid. I didn't really feel that much pressure at
Yeah.
any point. I would have had to really screw up, and I didn't. And again, maybe it's
Yeah.
just my playthrough.
Dark Side was
maybe it's
pretty
just because I was
easy
playing
for
on
me.
normal mode.
But I would say though,
But it
even if
didn't-
that's
I
the
don't know.
difficulty, I think it's on onus on the creator to make the difficulty a little harder, maybe.
Some
Because
scaling.
I always see normal as you should play through on this mode. I think on normal mode, you get too many upgrades that you get. I
If
mean,
you
based
do-
off what character
if
you're
you do them
playing,
all,
if
yeah.
you're doing well,
if you do everything.
So
too,
again, maybe
like,
it is just
really
bias of-
yeah.
after the uprising, I never really lost another dice roll after that.
Because here's the other
'Cause I
thing.
was
not
so
everyone,
strong.
Not everyone does every single story.
Exactly, that's
That's
true.
the other thing to keep in mind. People could
Why
just-
wouldn't you?
right? We were people who were drawn in, and so I think that's why maybe Dark Side was easier because you could go
Yeah.
well, as soon as you could ideally just go to the colony, really go to the uprising, get that thing, come back, go to Scatter Yards, get going to.
You
Dark
could make
Side,
it a very fast game if you wanted to.
yeah.
if you really wanted to.
But the world's cool, so go explore it instead.
Yeah, that's the.
At the end of the day, I would not say there was too much to do on any given location.
Yeah.
That was maybe this is just because I really like the game. I wish there was a lot more of it.
I liked the pacing and the size of the game.
I think the
personally.
size was actually good. I don't want more.
But you do love it, so that makes total sense why you
Yeah.
want
This is
infinite
DLC.
more of it.
I know there's gonna be DLC. I feel strongly there will be, and I think once I have that, I'll be satisfied.
Yeah,
but
you're just waiting on it.
I feel like this game was 3 or 4 more contracts away from being what I really wanted. Like I think
Yeah.
I needed a few more really difficult steps or more difficult, more interesting, complex steps to get to the finale.
Yeah.
It was just a little too streamlined, a little too
I agree,
linear.
though.
The operator stuff was kind of felt like it just like hit and it just went
Yup.
off with the like getting that ship mind and
Yeah.
getting that ship mind's little a symbiotic parasite to help you out.
Yeah.
Little overseer.
I felt like
guy.
we didn't get enough. Yeah, overseer.
I
we
I
didn't
thought
get
that
enough
was.
of that.
So I thought for sure that was going to be like a whole arc. Like
Yeah.
I'd have
Yeah.
to assemble resources from multiple hubs to finish this one.
It just
big-
kind of happens.
Like, and then it just it's like no, we're good. I got you.
and again, it's
Yeah.
also like
Yeah,
you
I-
can just go and finish the game if
Yeah.
you want to.
Yeah.
Which
I thought the ending itself, for at least my ending, was anticlimactic. Like
Yeah.
it's spoiler warning.
Yeah, spoilers now for the rest of the last
Well,
half
this
game.
is
which
this is how we talk about the game. It's
Yeah.
fine.
but extra
I know.
spoiler because
Extra, yeah. I guess
this
I mean,
is the
'cause I think
penultimate
it's-
ending.
And I think this is a game worth playing. And if you don't want it to be spoiled, I think you deserve to know.
True, but we
yeah.
already talked about the interesting stuff. That's the other thing.
Yeah, we didn't go into everything. But anyway, you reboot
Right.
Yeah,
the end.
reboot the
Well,
end.
hold on. No. Because you do have the epilogue at the Ophelia Center or
Yes.
station where Seraphim finds the love of his life and is all cute in that. And there's like the festival that's led by the another Ember Step person, right?
The kiddo or the
The
dude?
captain.
The guy with the eye patch.
Yeah.
He's the former mercenary leader of the band Ankita was a part of before she comes to Erlin's Eye.
That's right.
Oh,
So
okay.
he's connected to Ankita.
But also the ship landed there from the Ember Step. One of them landed
Yes,
there.
the seed, the something seed, Eden seed or something.
Right, the one that Soul was in charge of.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was more or less the main.
Right, the main head one.
We had thousands of lives on it, and you find out maybe a few dozen survived or something
yeah.
like that. It was
Grim.
Ember seed.
Ember Seed.
I think that's it.
Ember Seed, Ember Song, Ember Step,
Yeah,
Ember boat.
Ember Boat.
but yeah.
One of the Ember Boat. I don't.
So I mean,
I like that.
guess yes, it's the
little
epilogue,
epilogue.
but it's a tiny little thing.
Yeah.
It's
I do like that your body starts breaking down without the reboot, and you start getting the as a concept. That's
Yeah.
nice. So you can't.
yeah.
I think implement that sooner. I
Yes.
think
Yes,
because
that is true.
I had one permanent glitch dice at the end of the game, and I could complete all of my. I only had like 2 or 3 contracts to do after the after you kill Lane.
Yep.
And so I went and did those, and I'm like, okay, I'll go do a reboot. Maybe there's another act after this, and then you wake up and then end.
Well, hold on, but also you get to decide what you want your future to be.
True.
you get to think about what your future might be.
I mean,
Yeah.
but that's
It lets you change your mind a lot. So it's
Yeah.
like, this is your ending in your own
Yes.
brain. What happens next?
yeah. But
If you
but
remember.
that's the game
What'd
saying
you
this
choose?
is what you're
Yeah.
gonna do.
What'd you choose? I chose assemble a crew and keep doing this.
Yeah.
That's what I chose.
I did that too.
I chose exploring, taking this bad boy and exploring the stars, hopping on the fraction drive and leaving the belt
fraction
forever.
drive.
Yep.
Yeah.
I didn't get that fraction dive though.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Yeah, so I chose doing that with Yun Jin, which is like
That would be my
a little
ending.
rancid vibe, but
If I got to keep him, that'd be my ending
but
too.
this is this is how I felt. I felt my sleeper would want to keep going, so they
Sure.
don't have to like rely on the stabilizer and stuff anymore. They just want to keep going and keep exploring, keep getting out there, and keep running these crews.
My sleeper wanted to keep helping the belt. That helped them.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was my ending I chose too.
Yeah.
it's nice. It doesn't feel as good though as one's endings, which is a little bit of a bummer. But that's
One's endings were a lot bigger.
Hard
I
to
think.
beat,
I
yeah.
think
these ones are quieter.
Just generally, it felt like this. I think the scope of the first game felt a lot bigger than
It
this
is.
one,
Especially with the flux at the end too.
especially with the DLC.
Yes,
It's-
especially with
it's-
the DLC.
It's much. I don't know. It felt bigger, and I love this game. I love the new.
yeah, two's great.
Love the new mechanics. The experience wasn't as good as my Citizen Sleeper 1 experience.
Yeah.
Um,
I feel like they're on the same level to me. Honestly, they're just a little different.
they are. Yeah. If I had to decide, I'd say one was a better experience overall.
Another game has a better chance of being your game of the year this year
Yes, for sure.
than
This-
than any game
this
did
one
last
isn't
year.
a solid. Yeah, we got some good games set up for this year.
I don't
so
know. I don't think. Do we have anything beating Citizen Sleeper too good?
I think we might. We'll find out.
We'll
Could
you
find
know what?
out.
How do I know? We're playing Sonic Heroes at some point.
Yeah.
Rather
Rather play Bomberman Hero.
I love Bomberman Hero.
That OST, baby.
That OST. I like it when. Okay, so I like the stress clocks. We didn't really talk about the every single contract has a little bit of a stress clock when those hit max.
Oh,
it was
yeah.
bad. Whatever. We've been saying we
Most
failed.
of them have those. Yeah.
One of my
Some of them don't,
favorites is Dachi's stretch clock. stress clock, Dark Side, that says a blade in the dark, and I'm just like,
Yes.
pointing to the screen. I see what you did there.
Yeah, this is a Blade in the Dark game.
Yep.
Oh,
It
look at
really
that.
validates
Yep.
all my thoughts.
Yep. I saw that and I thought of you.
Yep. Also, that was another character I wish we saw more of because he looked like a fucked up freak little lieutenant dude.
Great art.
Yeah, great
yeah.
art. I loved all the art of the council of the Ubotsu that we
Yeah.
never see again, really, except for Inkita.
I'm assuming everyone chose to say, I don't want to be the leader of Darkseid when the
Right.
Yeah.
Why would you?
Yeah.
Yeah. And did you? Oh, here's one. Did you guys get the drive with Cadet? What did you do with the drive?
Oh.
Did you give
We
it
need
to
about
Mr.
Hexbot
Dice?
was murdered?
Yeah.
Okay,
I
that was
just-
another one where I was like,
That's a big decision. Casters
shit.
from the first game.
Okay.
Caster is a corporate spy.
So I destroyed it
I
because
destroyed it. As soon as I saw that motherfucker, I was like, nope.
Yeah.
Destroyed.
Yeah.
Did you give...
I kept the drive to you talk about the end of the game. I remember
Yeah.
Caster.
So Caster is
He doesn't say his name.
Okay.
Yeah, he's the stranger, and he has a pair
In
of
the
dice, and he
Oh.
says, "I have plans for that drive. You could give it to me."
I didn't give it to him, but I held
Good.
on to it till the
Yeah,
ending
no,
of it all.
I crushed it in front of him.
Yeah,
Oh,
me too.
gotcha.
Because seeing him elicits a response in me.
Yeah. Did you guys find out how Hexport exploded then?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So the drone and
Yeah.
Yep, the fucking Nova Vend
Corpos.
drone.
yeah.
Fucking Nova Vend again.
Yep.
They make vending machines too.
Yes, from
Oh.
the first game.
Very
There's an AI in a vending machine in the first
A good character.
A great character.
Yeah, really good character. Very important character. Do we want to talk about any of our other favorite NPCs?
I want to talk about music actually.
We can talk
because
about that too.
It's
banger.
it's
Good
fucking
music.
good. I've
Yeah.
been listening to Signal Chaser and Another Cycle and Different Moon a lot, and I'm like, I fucking love these songs.
For a game with almost no sound effects, almost no zero
minimal
dialogue,
yeah.
Yeah,
no
no dialogue.
voice work whatsoever.
Nope.
This game has beautiful written voice,
Yeah.
but no voice work.
Brilliant choice. I'm glad they kept it.
I think there's potential if they had really good voice actors. I think it's an angle
You
that I
need
think
a good narrator is what you actually need.
yes, and that's so.
That would be
We'll
good.
talk about that next month.
We'll talk about that next month for sure. Yeah, but
But the music,
Music.
I don't like. Amos Reedy, fucking, it's just a great. I really love this soundtrack. It's so much
great
better than
ambient
the first one, I
sci-fi
think.
noise.
It was great. I don't know. There's just like some songs where it felt like, yes, I'm doing a fucking cycle. It's another day. Like the music keeps flowing in a way where I'm like, I'm going into cycle and cycle, and it feels like a montage. Like you're watching the shots of your sleeper doing these things.
When I was reading for Realis, I was listening to the OST
Right.
because it fits well.
Same. I've done that while like doing Realis.
It made it
notes.
easier
I've
to
been-
read.
Yep.
Realis is a tabletop game we will be playing soon.
Right after this recording.
Yes.
Yeah, NPCs. Yeah,
Yeah,
there's-
NPC
oh man, let me pull up my list.
Yeah, I've got a list too. The Stray, we already talked about the cat.
I love
It's
the
not
strat.
as not,
we didn't talk about how you are introduced to the cat though, which is
Oh, yeah, it's
wandering
some-
dark hallways.
Yeah, there's some creepy monster who is
tackling people.
haunting your home and tackling people and taking your resources, and you discover eventually by feeding it that it's just a cat.
Oh, there's a
just a cat.
Gizka
It's
on
just-
my ship.
Yeah,
That's what I
yeah,
thought of.
It's 100% the Gizka thing,
Yeah.
or like the stowaway that like you hear footsteps behind you.
Yes.
Like what?
Yeah.
Shaka paka.
Yep.
I love especially the first time you see the cat, which is in the the two asteroids that are bridged together, because the cat, like, that's how you find it originally, is like, oh, you get like something dark in the dark, like slams into you and runs by you.
Oh, I missed that. Oh, nope. I do remember that. Never mind.
Like you like explore like the underground hallways and it's just all pitch black and stuff.
That's
and
where
like,
you find like the Solheim vending machine thing that
Right.
can print advanced.
Advanced
Ship
parts,
components?
which you
Yeah.
can
Oh,
use
okay,
to
ship
repair.
components.
No,
No, it's scrap. I'm pretty sure
it's the
it's
scraps.
the repair your dice thing.
rare
that's
components
right.
that repair your.
You only
dice.
get one.
Yeah, there's some like scrap
glitch.
components to this game that's interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, the
So the Stray is good.
Stray's good.
I really love the pair, Kimball and Cyrene, on the Hollow.
The brother and sister?
The radio people.
Oh,
the pirate radio people.
The radio people. Kimball's
Kimball,
quiet.
Kimball only mumbles or says, like, you hear a groan, you hear a shout, you hear it, and it's never distinguishable, but Cyrene can completely understand him, and like he'll have like a one-syllable response, and it's just like, it damn well does mean that. And like, I just
pirate
love
radio.
Yeah, I love that pair. I think if I had to pick one though, Nemba rules from the Spindle, the cook
that wants to
helping the refugees.
Yep, he connects. I actually have
combines the two best characters to make the best plan,
and just such a good representation of a refugee. Like I very interesting. I took a screenshot. There's one point where he says, where he's talking about. He asks you, would you have done anything I asked you to do if I didn't demand you do it?
Yeah.
Because he does have a pretty intense persona that he kind of puts on, even though he's just trying to help some refugees. But and he specifically says this. He says, I just find that there's an expectation that if I'm a refugee, I must be desperate. I must beg for aid, show my suffering. Nemba folded his arms. I prefer to make plain requests or even better, strong demands. You think of the back and forth journeys made for both Aki and Nemba and the aid that was asked of you. Would you have done the same if requests hadn't been so strong, the demands so obvious? Like that, moments like that, I think, are what really make this game great. It's that narrative voice you get there, but strong, surprising characters.
Yeah. Memorable. Like you just
like Kirk, the Union leader.
Yeah.
Really good.
Yeah. You get to use them for one mission.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's fun. Yeah. The temporary companions are fun.
The characters are written well. Everyone's cool to talk to. You're excited to meet new people.
Yeah.
Then also wary at times to being like, well, this could really screw me over. So all the decisions feel like it's a worthy decision to make, and it's like whether you choose to do it or not. But it's
and even when it breaks bad, it's still interesting to read.
Yeah.
Even when you fail, it's still enjoyable.
Yeah.
It just feels worse. It just feels bad,
feels so
man.
bad.
Sad. You're just gonna be sad about it.
Yeah. And then you're rolling glitch die, which is like 20% positive, 80% negative.
A good mechanic. Yeah.
It's really good, and it's every time you get a positive from a glitch
it's
die,
amazing.
You're like,
that's the highlight moments.
Pumping my fist. Any last thoughts before we move on to questions? Are we ready for questions? So
I just had one. Regarding the dice system.
Oh yeah,
it's a really good. If you think of, I don't really love this terminology, but it's good if you think of like in terms of like therapy talk spoons. Like you have so many spoons to give on any given day. You know that language?
No.
Okay,
No.
so with spoons, it's okay. I guess I can explain it.
I was thinking of the card game.
So,
but-
no. So with spoons, it's basically the idea is that on any given day, you have a certain number of spoons to give, and you can only give so many spoons before
you're out of spoons.
You're out of resources for the day.
Yeah.
Some days you have more to give. Some days you have fewer. Some days tasks that don't take a spoon at all take all your spoons.
Gotcha.
I don't remember where the specific language of that came from, but that's the idea.
Yeah. Now, unfortunately, I believe that has turned into, I think the colloquialism is emotional labor, and now people have twisted.
That's why I say I don't love this. I don't love therapy talk, but it's a way to think of it.
Spoons is a much more considered concept than emotional labor, in my opinion.
But you could now replace it with I don't have any dice to give to this.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of what I don't have enough
God.
dice for this, man. Like I've got enough dice to do 5 things today because it's a good day.
Yeah.
But listen, my dice are all 1s and 2s right now. And so unless I'm doing something I know
still
I'm
have
good
to
at,
eat.
Exactly. And but I mean, I
you're
like
kind of right. I never thought about it that
That's
way.
good. Yeah.
I like this system. I think
Yeah,
it's way more realistic as like a day-to-day experience of living as someone else than other RPGs. Because other RPGs, you have energy points that you can recharge with a drink. You have hit points that you can recharge with a wheel of cheese. You have, you can take a nap to level up or to get your health back.
You can always do something to do more.
Eating, consuming are not a part of your day. They're things you do for fun to make your day go on longer, which is not at all how life works. And in this game, you only have a certain amount of energy per day that's largely based on how well you did yesterday and the day before that.
Yeah.
And your failures become cyclical and your successes become cyclical.
Yeah.
And the systems you build around you to hold on to you and to empower you as you navigate this system where you're not always going to have all your dice, you're not always going to have good dice.
Yeah.
And another thing I like about this, just as a general analogy for people, is that even like really, really capable people have bad days.
Yeah.
Even a really capable sleeper is going to have bad dice days. Even really bad days have good moments. Maybe most of your dice are 1s and you have 1-6.
Yeah.
Like you have powerful, successful moments on really generally bad days. The opposite is true. You have really, really weak moments on really, really good days.
Yeah.
And even a person who's at their absolute limits and breaking at every possible turn can have a 6 sometimes.
Yep.
Like, I don't know. I like that part of this game. That's when I talk about immersion.
Yeah.
That is an immersive quality for me.
I think it also really captures as abstracting days. Like it's abstracting like time where we are hitting the big points of the sleeper's life, and we can kind of extract out where like some RPGs are really considered with the walking up to a store, opening the door, looking at the
we
things.
can skip that
and
stuff.
and this game's more concerned about what are the dramatic things that are happening. It's more cinematic.
That is exactly the word I used in my notes that I haven't said yet.
It's a more cinematic experience than
without
like a
any moving images.
Right, without any moving
It's
images,
cinematic.
because you're getting the
Yes.
shots of the sleeper's day doing the
Exactly.
things. Because when you do put the dice, something that I sometimes miss is always you get text that says what exactly happens.
Yes.
Like you get like a neutral result on picking through scrap. It's like you kind of pick through some things, but it's really tiring.
Yeah.
And, like,
Yeah.
you lose energy.
Positive is like, holy crap, you found the big scrap.
You impress the people who do this every day.
Yeah.
Yep. Or they're shouting orders at you as you clumsily move about the kitchen,
Yeah,
which I
that's a
got
better
a
way of
lot
doing it.
at Nemba's kitchen. It took me forever to meet Nemba
Yep.
because
Yeah.
I did not have tuition at all.
Oh, yeah.
I did not have intuition whatsoever, and so I kept failing.
He always admired how
But he still
well
feeds
yeah.
But it
Yeah.
still fed you, so I'd
Yeah.
still work there. I'd still
Yeah.
work a shift, even if they all hated me.
Until he said, no more working here.
No more working here. Sorry.
Yeah, you're too good to work here.
Yep.
That's a good moment. I think that was the moment
Go
where I
do
was
something
like,
else.
this dude
Move on.
rules. Yeah, he's like, because his reasoning specifically is that when you have great workers, they inevitably move on, and great workers change the environment of the workers around them. People become reliant on them.
Yep.
You become an integral part of it just because you're good at it. And when you leave, it hurts me in the long run, so I can't keep you here anymore.
Yeah.
It, like the
Such
fact
an
he's thinking of his
interesting-
workplace as an ecosystem
Yep.
and not as something to control and dominate.
cool.
Yeah.
That's why he's my favorite.
Yeah, Nemba really is considering all aspects of a thing, which
Yeah.
I really like.
Yep.
Man,
But you guys got any other favorites?
I want to really do shout out Seraphin, who is the rock of the game. I love all the stuff where Seraphin is hurt by the loss
Yeah.
of memory. That's really where the dementia sort of story comes out. It's like you don't remember us.
We were best friends, dude.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like we are. I wouldn't do this with anyone. It's you.
Which was cool to see again with Flint. He's like, we knew
We
each
met-
other, but
Yeah.
not.
the big reveal at
we
the
weren't
end.
friends.
Yeah.
But not really.
We worked together.
Yeah.
We did have a life-defining moment together where we broke out of slavery.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But like that was it.
Yeah. It's interesting too that I'm kind of glad they didn't go into any like.
I'm glad you don't get your memories back.
Me too.
Like the kind
Yeah.
of like some weird memories kind of drib and drab, and I like you can't tell, is it the emulation mind dredging the memories of the human?
Is it the
sleeper?
first mind?
one
that-
human mind memory you're sure you have is stroking a cat.
Yes.
I love that. I
Yes.
thought that was
Wait,
beautiful.
and knowing what a cat is, because you were like, that's a cat.
Yeah,
Right.
And nobody else. Yeah, everybody else is like, "What the fuck is that thing?"
Yeah.
Seraphin specifically is freaking out.
Well, this is like, oh, it's a cat. We had
Yeah.
one on Erlen's
Yeah,
Eye.
Bliss
It's
also
like-
knew cats. Yeah, that was cool.
Well, there's a cat you get in that game too.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
You can feed it.
Yep.
Nice.
Yep. Also the stray, right?
Yes, I
Yeah.
think so. Yeah.
Oh, they're releasing a plushie of the new stray. Yeah.
I like
Cute.
it. Does it
Saw
have the
that.
little cast on it?
I don't remember.
Okay.
Oh yeah, it does. It's an arm.
It's a
Yeah.
big
Okay.
cat.
Yeah.
It like is like a kind of a fat cat, which
Okay.
is interesting. You're like the image in this game,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because it's like the cat doesn't. It's in 0G. It's not building muscle the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think there were any upgrades past. I don't reason to keep feeding the cat after you get the first cutscene with
I'm
it. Where,
so
but
scared
I
it's
fed the
gonna
cat
leave, though.
every 3 turns.
Same situation in the first game. It's like you could keep feeding it. Of course, I'm going to keep feeding
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
I can't let this cat. It
Yeah.
needs to eat. What do you mean? So every 3 turns, it took me 2 supplies because I was always feeding the cat.
Yep.
Yep.
Oh.
What a good game.
Should we move on to questions?
Yeah, I think we're ready for
I
questions.
think we're ready for
I
questions.
think that's the extent of my points.
First question comes in from Bean.
Yay.
Are there moments where you would add more moving visuals? No, I wouldn't. I think they're good without it.
If I had the choice of having some and not having some, I would be okay with some. But I don't think it needed it.
I guess it does have the ship moving.
Yeah.
Ship
So
does
You
move.
get some ship movements.
Yep, you do.
You get
I like the engine startup noise and then it shoom.
I think it would be helpful at times if expressions changed.
That's what I'm thinking.
So
yeah.
like maybe just like a different angle of the same portrait would
Yeah.
be. It'd be cool, but I'm
Yeah.
not upset that it's not
But
there.
like the character portraits are so.
No, they're so good as
They're
they
good.
are.
Yeah.
I think
just emotional changes would be great.
and
sure.
that's fair. But
Yeah.
But I don't want.
Or maybe a couple more outfit changes because there are some missions where you go out, or contracts where you go out and you, because of the nature of that contract, you are changing outfits.
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I would like to see.
Yeah, if everyone
so
was
what's
in
my complaint?
spacesuits.
I'd like more of it. More
Yeah.
art, please.
Yeah.
yeah, definitely with the question,
Yeah.
I would say more moving photos in terms of swapping them out to like
Yeah,
new
I don't need
situation. New
movement.
situation.
Yeah.
I don't need movement. I don't need
Yeah.
to see a cutscene of Lane dying when I kill
Yeah.
him. All of it by itself is
As
how
Fa-
good as good it is. I
as
just want
Faden said,
changing
very
emotions.
cinematic.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Which crew members did you not trust to make choices?
Eugene.
Eugene.
But I brought him as long as I had him.
Yeah.
I think like maybe this applies into our real life. Who would not trust? I wouldn't trust Eugene. I also wouldn't trust. I mean, Seraphin's just kind of a.
Yeah.
He needs to grow a spine a little bit.
Yeah.
In a way
Yeah.
I love.
I didn't trust.
I would listen to
Seraphin,
him.
yeah.
Every time I thought like, what would the situation be if I listened to him? I'd be less off if I listened to him. I got to keep
Yeah.
going, and which was kind of cool. Maybe it was like he's like, you're conscious of like, should you stop? Should you not do this next choice?
Mm-hmm.
And then, but every time you're like, no, if you persevere,
Got it.
you get good things.
You got to keep pushing through, even if it's the most dangerous thing. But it also could go bad, like it did for me. So
Yep.
maybe I should have listened. If you were to add yourself into the game, what feature would you make your character stand out? So, like, what would be our crew?
Oh, jeez.
I think mine would probably be endure. I would be moving things. I'd be like,
Yeah,
moving,
I would be
pushing.
If I was a character, I'd be two things. I'd be endure, and then I'd be what's the one where you talk to people?
Engage.
Engage. I'd be
Yeah,
endure,
engage.
engage.
I think I'd just be endure plus.
endure plus. Yeah.
I'd give you a.
I'd probably be engage plus.
Yeah.
or an engage into it.
Yeah.
I think that's much more my character. Less technical, more people.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Next question comes in from Dale. I've read about this game being unplayable because of the possibility of bad rolls locking into bad situations. One player I saw got stuck on a space station for several days because they kept rolling poorly. What do you feel is the responsibility of a game to provide scenarios with a win condition? Can losing be fun?
Yes, as I think we'll talk about next month, losing can be fun.
I've been saying losing can be fun on this podcast many times.
I mean, I think just specifically for next month's game,
true.
It's one of those games with, a few losses are preferable to some of the wins.
Yeah.
I think this game doesn't make losing fun, but I think that's the correct move because I think it feels, as you said, Uncle, the failures. Like they snowball, they keep adding up, they keep keep having cycles of failure, and I think that's intentional with the game, and I think that's kind of a good thing.
The failure is what makes the struggle seem so much harder.
Yeah.
Even though it might have been easy past a point for most of my actual gameplay,
the
struggle was always there because I knew what would go happen if things went bad.
It could just break bad.
So and I think this is in that way. It's doing something similar to Pathologic, but in a way I could do.
Right.
Like this is a much more kind. This is a much kinder and more palatable. You might enter a downward spiral you can't get out.
If Pathologic told you there was a permanent glitch die, you would never get that glitch die back.
No. If it said permanent, it meant permanent.
It meant permanent.
Yeah, which is both what makes Pathologic really cool and what makes it difficult for some people to engage with. Yeah.
Obtuse.
Yeah.
I think this game,
it is obtuse. It is a spiky game.
It's thorns.
It has
no
thorns.
rose.
Yeah.
I think this game,
thorns in the shape of a rose.
If you have a hard time with games that can potentially force you to fail a lot, that can be very intimidating to start playing. My first playthrough, the first 15 minutes, I almost said, I'm either going to restart the game or I'm going to have to say, I can't play this game.
So glad you stuck through.
Oh yeah, me too. Definitely worth it. Give it a shot. If the story games are interesting to you, this is a great cinematic game where you can kind of play and experience a pretty cool story.
And if you're even a little bit interested in Blades in the Dark, the system, or Forged in the Dark games in general.
There's a music track called The Blade in the Dark, too.
This is a great taste of an RPG system that is far superior to anything produced by Wizards of the Coast.
So, like, if you had to choose between this and Baldur's Gate 3...
This all day.
Sorry, Max, I'm putting you on the spot. If you had to choose,
I would pick Baldur's Gate.
No, hold on. I'm going to phrase this question specifically.
Yes, go for it.
If you have to choose one game to exist in the world, would you choose this or Baldur's Gate 3?
Baldur's Gate 3.
Wow, you would
100%,
sacrifice
1,000%.
Citizen Sleeper.
Because I love CRPGs, and Baldur's Gate being as popular as it was means CRPGs more are coming.
Or is that what that means?
For me? Yes.
Or is something worse going to happen because of game economics and the industry?
Larian
the industry
has proven
is
to
broadly
me.
just getting worse.
Yeah, so that's why I'm like,
time.
I don't think more, even Larian was like, I don't think more CRPGs are coming. This was just a fluke.
Oh, I 100%. I mean, I played their Divinity Original Sin 2. Fantastic, fun game.
Okay, that game rules.
Yeah. Baldur's Gate 3 also rules. Yeah. I really enjoy that game. Okay, preface that. I always play these games with 3 other people. So it's a D&D campaign for me. And
no, and also I'm just a when you say it's a D&D campaign, my body I'm doing more layman's
salt
for
on
things.
a slug.
I'm just a specific weirdo.
It's my idea of it's a tabletop game that I can play with friends.
Yeah,
that's my standard word with D&D.
It's also easily parsable for a lot of people who are like, especially they don't have to do the rules.
Exactly,
you don't have to calculate it yourself.
Yeah, with a lot of people that I interact with on a daily basis, when they ask what I do on Sunday, I play with my D&D group. We don't play that, but for other people that don't understand,
no, you got to stand up. You got to put your foot
break
down.
I have with the people that are interested in it. Past that,
you just got to say TTRPG group. You got to out yourself as the weirdo.
I'll say I've transitioned to saying my tabletop group it's like D&D.
That's
if
what
they
I would
don't
do.
know.
Yeah.
I say my
Yeah.
tabletop group, and I wait for them to ask if they're
Because
polite
with
enough.
other people that are not in that world, they're thinking, "Oh, you guys play Monopoly together?"
No, seriously. I think
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
most people
normal
will
people.
assume that.
So
yeah.
the average
so I
actual
skip-
person.
I skip
Tabletop.
that and go straight
your,
to D&D.
Your homeworkers, you guys do tabletop. So like carpentry,
Right.
like yeah,
Like sometimes,
It's like
no.
book club, but we all come with a
Yeah.
different art project
Yeah.
every month. And
new table every week.
Yeah, we do crafts.
Yeah,
Yeah, one of the funniest things I saw about Baldur's Gate is like a lot of D&D players are realizing how much of their GM fudges dice rolls by like going, Baldur's
yeah.
Gate 3 is so hard. I
Yeah.
never roll well.
but that's why I don't like necessarily those games anymore, where it's just like, I don't want dice. I want a cool story. I don't want to just be like,
I
you
wanna
try to
roll
lockpick, you
2d6.
fail. I'm going
Yeah.
to do it again. You
Yeah.
lockpick, you fail. You do it again. It's like, that's not good story.
You succeed. Good job.
Succeed,
Yeah.
but there's a guy behind the door now because you rolled bad. That's cooler. More storytelling stuff, please. Less
yes,
number not high enough.
less RNG.
Yeah.
Who is this also from Dale? Who is your favorite female game protagonist? Mine has quickly become Sigurd from Wave Tale.
Oh, any game?
Any game.
Oof.
Bayonetta. Bayonetta is my favorite female protagonist. Bayonetta 1 and Bayonetta 2. Bayonetta. I'm ignoring 3.
This is easy for me. Jala.
Jala! Yeah, you love Jala.
I love Jala from
Thirsty Suitors.
Thirsty Suitors.
Okay.
Last year's Game of the Year. Yeah. Jala. Easy.
Oh, that's tough. There's so many good ones. I'm thinking to all my RPGs
I
play.
love Clara too from Pathologic.
You know, just because we were just talking about recently, it's in my head. Karlach from Baldur's Gate 3.
Okay,
She's
Karlach
fun.
is the best party member out of all of them.
For sure.
I don't
For sure.
Yeah.
have any warmth to any of them but her.
Yeah, Karlach.
Agreed.
Every time.
That was one of
Yeah.
the hardest things for me is people were like, oh, the companions are so good.
Oh
man.
my gosh,
the
Shadowheart.
companions
Nah.
suck. Shadowheart is and she's the most
Shadowheart.
popular companion
Yeah.
by a long
Yes,
way. If you look
100%.
at the statistics, she is the most
Why?
popular by a long way, and she is by
Oh,
far the.
Uh,
You know why?
That okay,
Yeah.
okay. I will say argue with some of that points though. It's because she's also the cleric of the group, and
Sure,
people normally want to
she's
have a healer in the beginning of the game.
I buy that.
Any damage is big damage in the early game.
She
But
sucks.
also-
and they stick to it.
She
yeah.
just sucks.
Yeah, she's
they all
miserable.
suck. But
I like Karlach.
except for Karlach.
I like Karlach.
Especially Karlach in the mind is like, oh, someone who just automatically does the classic barbarian thing.
Yeah.
Every situation
Yeah.
is presented to her.
Interesting, funny, fun.
Yep.
Great character. Perfect for D&D.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have a 3-person group for our current campaign, and I get the pilot our only companion, which is Karlach, which I just made her into a throwing barbarian, and
That's
it's so broken because Tavern Brawler
My
is
ex-
broken
my
in that
ex
game.
did that exact
The returning
same thing.
javelin and
Yep.
just
Yeah,
all
and then
day
the
long.
legendary returning javelin
Yep.
that explodes.
Yep.
Yeah, I was throwing
Goofy.
predator missiles at all the enemies
Yep.
and then just staying up top.
That was my favorite way to play
and then
the game
doing
when I was playing it.
three
Yeah.
dips into thief, so I get an extra bonus action turn. So it's 4 throws every turn. So broken.
Love it.
And our last question comes from Hilver. What are your favorite games that feature dice?
So, Citizen Sleeper and Disco Elysium. I mean, honestly,
Yeah.
for me, that's easy. But blows all other dice games out of the water for me.
I've been trying to. I like Armello. It's
Don't
an
know it.
animal dark fantasy board game, video game, but
Okay.
it was specifically made as a video game board game.
Gotcha.
It wasn't a board game first. Now they're making a board game eventually at some point, I think. I don't know how that's going. Some weird Australian company. I like rolling dice in that. That's fun. I like to play like a fox lady who gets to save terrorized settlements and get followers.
Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah.
But also, they're hidden dice, but the KOTOR games that we've talked
You
about.
know what?
That was
extensively.
going to be my other
KOTOR,
choice.
Yeah.
KOTOR's die.
That's
yeah.
just D20s.
I love
Yeah.
I love dice game. I'd love to have infinitely more dice game like KOTOR RPG.
Sure.
I love that. It's fun. I enjoy manipulating the game at times after I've done my first playthrough and getting
Once it's a
40
familiar
wisdom
system.
to get
Yeah.
a plus 20.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of other dice games besides like Citizen Sleeper and Disco Elysium, which of course.
Yeah. Most dice rolls are hidden these days.
Yeah.
Those dice. You know
Yeah.
what? Bring back showing dice rolls, goddammit. Cowards. Actually, that's my main complaint about Baldur's Gate. every time you should attack, the dice roll should be shown.
Yeah.
Stop hiding those.
I agree.
I like
That would be
you
a nice
can
thing to
see it.
activate as an option.
Yeah,
being
that'd be like you
Because
can
for
like,
some people, it does matter.
Additionally,
Yeah.
I agree though, because a lot of times I don't know what modifiers are currently going into my attack. I like the numbers. I want to
too.
see that. Let me see it.
For that system, yeah.
Yep. There's a chat log, but that's hard to look at, and there's better.
It's not
give me
as
a
fun.
visual. Give me fun
give
visuals.
the visual you do for the other rolls.
Yeah.
where you make your checks.
That's
and-
why you have a D20 as the big thing. It's cool to see dice roll and be like,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
20.
Give me a mod where the dice are physically showing up on the map and knocking over models.
Give me a mod
And it's
that's
like-
3D
Give me a
printed
mod.
dice.
Give me a mod of Tabletop Simulator where I can jiggle my mouse back and forth and then throw them across the
There you
table.
go.
I mean, non-video games, of course. Like Forge in the Dark, could give Scum and Villainy. I'll say that non-video game.
Heart.
Yeah, I agree.
That's your favorite.
I
dice?
loved Heart.
Heart was
Yeah.
good.
Good mechanics.
We'll play it. We'll play it again.
Yeah.
I've got ideas for that one.
Sweet.
I'm excited for your Heart idea.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it for questions. If you ever want to ask us questions, you can find me on Blue Sky at Faden Cross or whatever. Message me there. If you, for some odd reason, don't want to do that and you think, hey, I would like to have an email. I don't know. Tell me to set up an email. I'll set up an email. Nobody's asked for one yet, but some people like that. And if you do, whatever. I don't care. Or hit me up on Discord or real life, however you know me. Next month, we should talk about next month. What are we playing, Uncle, for next month? This was your choice, I believe.
Yes, we are going to ride into that sweet tequila sunset. We are playing Disco Elysium.
Oh fuck, I have it down as Disco Inferno. Is that?
Well, you can become a Disco Inferno in that game. Maybe you've always been burning in such a way, but we'll find out.
I am a
whether-
dragon, that's for sure.
We'll find out if you're a star or just a sad cop. Because Disco Elysium's got the boogie, baby. I'm so excited. It's one of my favorite games.
It's such a funky game.
Such voice. Talk about narrative voice. Oof. I'm stoked.
I'm excited to replay this one.
Yeah, it's been a minute since I played it.
Yeah.
And
The main impetus is Dale should be joining back, and Dale has not played this.
yeah, well, has not been able to survive this.
Yeah.
It's we're gonna see if we can pilot our friend to final success and actually complete it.
This is the one that needs
It's a
to
tough
be
one.
completed.
It's a tough one. Yeah.
It's funny,
I
Dale.
don't think it's tough.
I think for a certain kind of player, it's
Yeah.
a very tough
If you
game.
don't like reading,
Well, I don't
I
think,
wouldn't be that
I
cheap
don't
with it.
think reading is the only barrier to entry. I think the storytelling suffering that we talk about in Citizen Sleeper, there's a much greater potential for real player suffering
Yeah.
in
For-
that kind of
That's true.
storytelling.
It was
in
the same
Disco.
reason for me in Citizen Sleeper where I had such a hard time
Yeah.
with that failure. It's that fear. So this game, Dale and I have gotten to the same exact point,
Yep.
and we both stopped at the same exact point multiple times on trying to play through the
Look,
game, and then
I'll
stopped to go
just-
play
I'll
something
just
else.
say
'cause
my-
it's less stressful.
the first time I ever played that game, that situation lasted into the next day in game, and I thought it was funny because it got worse.
And you know what? Maybe my second playthrough will be eye-opening for me because much like this Citizen Sleeper playthrough, I had a real golden boy playthrough of my Disco. Because I remember reading online about things that happened to other people, almost everybody else who had played Disco. And I'm like, wow, I skipped right past that. It was, I was all sunshine and roses, baby.
Well, that'll be next month, though.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see how this goes.
Yeah.
Until next time, I hope you all have a wonderful month.
Yeah. I love you.
Goodbye, everyone.
Stay safe.